Corporation. Extra care in engineering. Your host today, your local Dodge dealer. And by STP Corporation, makers of STP oil treatment, the Racer's Edge. Good afternoon, everyone. From Pasadena, California, it's the 57th renewal of collegiate football's greatest spectacle, the Rose Bowl, matching Ohio State against Stanford. This is Don Klein with Marv Homan at the scene of action, along with a capacity crowd of some 102,000 spectators about to witness the long-awaited clash between Woody Hayes' Big Ten champion Buckeyes and the Pacific 8 champion Indians, coached by John Ralston. For Ohio State, it's the second time in 3 years they've spent New Year's Day here in Pasadena, following their 1969 victory, you'll recall, over USC. For Stanford, it's a return to Pasadena after an absence of 19 years. But where past history of the Rose Bowl Classic is concerned, the Indians have a heritage all their own, having played against Michigan in the inaugural Tournament of Roses contest of 1902. That was 21 years prior to the construction of the Rose Bowl Stadium itself. Perhaps Michigan's lopsided 49-0 victory in that first Pasadena New Year's Day game had some bearing on the decision, but it wasn't until 1960 that the second game was played. That Washington State Brown University game starting a continuous series here in Pasadena that moved into the Rose Bowl itself in 1923. A stadium that has been expanded 5 times from its original capacity of 57,000 to the present size accommodating 102,000. Truly the granddaddy of all the bowl games, the great spectacular of every New Year's Day. And for those spectators now having filled this huge bowl just about 13 minutes prior to kickoff, these spectators below our NBC radio broadcasting booth, the weatherman has started the new year for us on a winning note. Clear blue skies overhead, a warm sun beaming down on this crowd, many thousands of whom joined the estimated 2 million who witnessed this morning's Rose Parade in all its color and pageantry that have been a part of the Pasadena New Year's Day scene since the original parade of 1890. In the background, you're hearing now this fine Ohio State University marching band, one of the nation's most celebrated musical aggregations, having been preceded on the stadium floor below by what they call the improbable Stanford University marching band. Where history is concerned, of which I've been speaking, both Stanford and Ohio State have shared in Rose Bowl annals. The Indians have been here 8 times since that 1902 opener, including trips to Pasadena for the top Warner teams and the famed Ernie Nevins, the Ball Boy squad in the mid-30s led by Tiny Thornhill, the Frankie Albert quarterback squad in 1941, and the Tribe's last appearance here in 1952, of course a long 19 years ago for Stanford backers. Ohio State's first Rose Bowl entry was the team of 1921, and the Buckeyes' first Pasadena effort, as in the case of Stanford, ended in failure when California beat Ohio State that year 28-0. Russ Betzler evened the Buckeye Pasadena ledger in 1950, edging the Bears 17-14. Following which, Woody Hayes has brought his Big Ten champions out west to Pasadena 3 times since. Those 3 trips all resulted in victory excursions for the Buckeyes, the most recent being a 27-16 conquest of the USC Trojans here just 2 years ago. So, in 9 appearances in Pasadena, Stanford has won 3, lost 5, and tied 1. Ohio State, after losing that first game to California, has not been beaten since here in Pasadena. They've won 4 games in a row. But that, of course, is all past history. What about the present and the recent success story of Buckeyes and Indians that bring them together here in the famed Rose Bowl? And first, in taking a look at the Ohio State Buckeyes, it's my pleasure to call on a gentleman who has been covering Big Ten football for 21 years, the play-by-play broadcaster of the Ohio State Buckeyes, Marv Homan. Marv?
Thank you, Don. Well, Ohio State reached the Rose Bowl by winning the Big Ten championship outright. In fact, the Buckeyes went undefeated in 9 regular season games. Ohio Ohio State is coached by veteran Woody Hayes, who is completing his 20th year as head man of Ohio State football. The Buckeyes are a veteran team with 9 seniors starting on offense and 6 on defense. There are 13 players in this game who started the 1969 Rose Bowl game against Southern California. Ohio State has averaged over 30 points per game this year, while a swarming, aggressive defense has yielded only slightly over 10 per game to the opponents. Now, the Buckeyes prefer a running attack and have averaged 307 yards per game on the ground to only 88 in the air. So here, of course, is an interesting contrast. Stanford prefers to go by the air, while Ohio State sticks to the ground. Now, as a team, Stanford will be slightly heavier, but this is nothing unusual. For in 6 of the 9 regular season games, Ohio State was the lighter team. The Buckeyes do, however, have unusual quickness, both on offense and on defense. Coach Woody Hayes uses many offensive sets. In fact, the Buckeyes may use a variety of formations early in the game to probe Stanford to try to find something that will confuse the Indians. Basically, Ohio employs the I set and the split-back formations, but you can expect the Buckeyes to use some standard T formation today. Defensively, Ohio State uses a 4-4-3 and a 5-3-3. All-American Jim Stillwagon plays over the center in the 5-man line and drops back as a linebacker when Ohio State goes to the 4. Now, another All-American, cornerback Jack Tatum, always plays to the wide side of the field. On defense, Ohio figures to have its problems, for the Buckeyes have not faced a passer with the ability of Stanford's Jim Plunkett, or with 3 as fine a receivers as Randy Bataha, as Bob Moore, and as Jack Lassiter of the Indians. So, that's the story from Ohio State. And now, Don, suppose you come back and tell us a little bit about Stanford's football team.
Well, Marv, from what you've said, it's very clear the Indians will have their hands full with this running attack of the Buckeyes. It's obvious that if Stanford is to come through the win, the Indians will first have to force the Buckeyes into some deviation from their game plan of ball control. Maybe that's the surprise element of which you speak, which, of course, in turn, eventually, though, means stopping that ground attack. And that's to say nothing of the complications posed by the rollout and option tactics of the Ohio State Buckeyes veteran quarterback, Rex Kern. Down below, the Ohio State band has formed the letters USA, and the crowd is invited to join in the singing and the playing of our national anthem. Of our national anthem, the 102,000 fans settle back, and we'll continue the scene setting here of the action between the Buckeyes and the Indians for you, for which we'll be back for more color in just 1 minute.
Winter's back. Time to get ready for those bitter cold mornings, if your car's ready for them. So have your service station change your motor oil to a winter gray, and don't forget the edge. STP Oil Treatment. The edge great race drivers like Mario Andretti, Bobby Unser, and A.J. Foyt count on when they have to keep rolling. STP gives vital engine parts the extra lubrication they need for fast winter starts. Lubrication they can't get from ordinary edge millions of motorists count on all year round to keep their family cars running smoother, quieter, longer. This winter, add STP to your oil and run razor sharp.
Speaking of Stanford here today and their chances, it's obvious they will rest largely on the shoulders of its defensive unit. It was defense, of course, that saved the opening game victory over Arkansas in the closing minute. It was defense that held twice inside the Stanford 5-yard line against USC that turned back the Trojans. And yet the most celebrated member of the Indian team is the most offense-minded performer the game of collegiate football has ever known. And, of course, I speak of Heisman Trophy winner Jim Plunkett, the Stanford quarterback who amassed almost 2,900 yards this past season and finished his 3-year career with a record-shattering 7,887 yards, some 4.5 miles on the gridiron, and the only player in the 101-year history of collegiate football to gain over 7,000 yards. En route to setting virtually every passing record in the Pacific Conference, Plunkett directed the Indians to 8 victories and 3 defeats. The losses to Purdue, the Air Force, and California, an admitted blemish on the Stanford 1970 record that cast some doubt as to the Indians' chances here today against this supposedly best-ever Ohio State aggregation. But John Ralston, now in his 8th year as head coach at Stanford, and his tribe will answer the doubters with the fact that they won both games in which they were cast in an underdog role. Arkansas and USC upset victims, unable to cope with Plunkett's passing and unable to penetrate that stubborn Stanford defense when it counted. That, of course, remains to be seen today, just how much the Buckeyes will be able to cope with Plunkett, how much the Indians will be able to forestall that tremendous running attack of the Buckeyes. Ohio State will line up on the left side at left end, Jan White from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, 209 3-year letterman. Dave Cheney from Lima, a senior 227-pounder, also a 3-year letter winner. Dick Kuhn from Louisville is the left guard, a senior 221 and a 3-year campaigner. Tom DeLone from Kent, Ohio, a junior 221-pounder, 2-year letter winner, is the center. Phil Strickland from Cincinnati, senior 225 pounds, is the 3-year letter winner at right guard. John Hicks from Cleveland, a sophomore, weighing 247. He is a 1-year campaigner. This is his first varsity campaign, of course. And at right end is Bruce Jankowski, sometimes a split end, sometimes playing in tight, from Fair Lawn, New Jersey, a senior weighing 188 and a 3-year letter winner. In the backfield, Rex Kern, the great quarterback from Lancaster, Ohio, a senior completing a 3-year varsity campaign, weighs in at 184. The tailback, Leo Hayden, one of the running backs from Dayton, he's a senior weighing 214, is also a 3-year campaigner. The right half, sometimes in a flanker back spot, Larry Zelina from Cleveland, a senior completing a great career after 3 varsity campaigns, weighing 193. And finally, John Brockington, the hard-running fullback, record setter for the Buckeyes from Brooklyn, New York, a senior weighing 222 and a 3-year letter winner. For the Stanford Indians, their offensive lineup at left end is Jack Lassiter from Modesto, a senior 195-pounder, a 3-year letter winner. Bill Myers is the left tackle from Long Beach, a 1-year letter winner, although he's a junior. He'll be back next year, weighing in at 236. Terrell Smith from Salt Lake City, the left guard, a senior, weighing 204 and a 3-year campaigner. John Sandy from Reno, a senior, 226-pounder, 3-year campaigner, is the center. Dan Lightfoot is the 3-year letter winner at right guard from Santa Rosa, senior, weighing 240. Steve Jubb is the right tackle from Altadena, a senior, weighing 250. He is lettered for 2 previous campaigns. And Bob Moore, the tight end at Klamath Falls, from Klamath Falls, a senior, weighing 221. He's a 3-year campaigner. We'll set the Indian backfield for you momentarily, and we'll be back for the opening kickoff coming up in just 1 minute.
This is Joe Garagio. Football is a team sport, and no team can put together a winning season without teamwork. And right now, the Dodge boys are putting together a different kind of winner with their Dart Swinger Automatic. Buy a specially equipped Dart Swinger hardtop, and Dodge throws in the automatic transmission at no extra charge. Now, that's up to $190 off the sticker price. Right now, you can get a specially equipped Dart Swinger Automatic with the automatic transmission at no extra cost. Dart Swinger has great engineering features like torsion bar suspension and unibody construction. So with a story like this, it's no wonder that today more people drive Dodge Dart than any other compact in America. Dart Swinger Automatic, one of Dodge's most consistent winners. See and drive a Dart Swinger Automatic today at your nearby Dodge Boy showroom.
We've given you the Ohio State lineup with the Stanford line. In the Indian backfield, the quarterback, the aforementioned Heisman Trophy winner from San Jose, Jim Plunkett, weighing 204, a senior who's lettered for 3 campaigns, played in 31 varsity football games, started them all, a great one. Jim Plunkett at quarterback. His running backs are Jackie Brown from Yakima, Washington, a junior weighing 200, a 2-year campaigner. He'll be back next year, as will Hillary Shockley, the fullback from Los Angeles, a junior weighing 220, and also a 2-year letter winner. And the flanker back is Randy Vataha, great pass catcher for the tribe from Garden Grove nearby, a senior weighing 175 and a 2-year campaigner. And before we have the kickoff, the captains out on the field with the officials, we'll pause 10 seconds now for station identification.
This is Steve Fitz, your contact host. Call us weeknights from 8 to midnight, here on the fresh air sound of Radio 81, WGY Schenectady.
The Ohio State Buckeyes have won the toss, and with that, the kickoff is moments away, and we'll turn back for the first half of the play-by-play report of today's action from Pasadena and the Rose Bowl. Here's Marv.
Thank you very much, Don Klein, and here we go with football from the Rose Bowl as the Stanford Indians, winners of 8 and losers of 3, go against the Ohio State Buckeyes with a 9-0 record. Both teams have come back on the field. Stanford seated on the far east sideline and Ohio State on the near west sideline. The field runs north and south. The toss of the coin has been made. Ohio State won the toss. The Buckeyes elected to receive. Stanford will be defending the south goal. So that sets the stage here for this, the 67th annual Rose Bowl football game. The Stanford Indians, the undisputed champions of the Pacific 8 Conference, playing host to the Ohio State Buckeyes, the Big Ten champions. This is Stanford's 10th appearance in the Rose Bowl. As Don told you earlier, this is Ohio State's 6th Rose Bowl appearance. So it'll be Stanford kicking off to Ohio State, the ball being placed on a tee on the south 40-yard line. Horowitz, who does the place kicking for Stanford, will of course be kicking off, and Ohio State now prepares to receive the kick. Ohio State wearing white jerseys, gray trousers, silver-colored headgear with some scarlet trimming. Stanford in its cardinal-colored jerseys, white trousers, and white headgear. So here we go now from the Rose Bowl as 102,000 fans look on. Ohio State aligns itself, ready to return the kick. Bruce Jankowski is one of the deep men, along with John Brockington. Horowitz prepares to kick off. Rick Galvos on the near side. Jankowski is the center man. There's a run forward by Horowitz. There's a boot. A nice long one carrying downfield. It is taken now by Jankowski at the 15. He's at the 20. Knocked down at the 20-yard line. Bruce Jankowski and John Brockington had a little mix-up there as to who was to field the ball. It was taken finally by Jankowski and returned to the 20. So now the first play from scrimmage as the Ohio State Buckeyes take over 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Ohio State comes out of the huddle as Tom DeLone gets out over the ball. The backs line up in an I formation. Kern calling signals. Kern with the ball, pitches back to Hayden. Hayden off left tackle, goes 5, goes 7, knocked out of bounds at the 27-yard line. Leo Hayden, the ball carrier, on a pitchback play, run out of the I formation, ran off his own left tackle, getting a good block from Dave Cheney, and goes out of bounds in the neighborhood of the 27-yard line. So it's 2nd down and 3 to go as Ben Barnes comes up from the right halfback spot to knock him out of bounds. The official is stopping play now as one of the officials is running over to the sideline.
2nd and 3.
It'll be 2nd down and 3 to go. Ohio State's ball, the line of scrimmage, the Ohio State 27-yard line, and play has just begun. One of the officials has gone over to the sideline. Evidently the timing device, he's checking with the timer over there, now evidently has things straightened out. We've used just one play from scrimmage. Ohio ran from the eye, pitched the ball back to Hayden. Hayden cut off his own left tackle for 7 yards from the 20 to the 27-yard line. Stanford basically employs a 4-man line. The Indians use a 4-3-4 defensive alignment primarily. Stanford employs a 4 deep.
Of the official time clock.
Evidently, the official was not completely satisfied with the timing mechanism or something, because he went over to the far sideline to check with the official timer. And now he also goes over to the Ohio State bench and has something to say with head coach Woody Hayes of Ohio State. All right, it's 2nd down and 3. The line of scrimmage, the Ohio State 27-yard line. Ohio is back in the huddle. Stanford now is making its defensive call. The Stanford line has Sampson and Tipton at the ends. Butler and Lazetich are the tackles. Linebackers are Cates, Seaman, and Moore. Here's Ohio coming out of the huddle. Wide to the right comes Bruce Jankowski. Again, the backs are in an eye. Rex Kern calling signals. Brockington is the short man, and Hayden standing directly behind him. Long count. The ball is pitched back to Galvos. Galvos hit at the line of scrimmage and knocked down at about the 28. Galvos, the ball carrier, stopped by Dave Tipton, the defensive end for Stanford. Galvos running out of the tailback spot. Gets a yard from the 27 to the 28, the same basic play. And now here comes Hayden back into the game at the tailback spot. Now Hayden is going to switch over to right half, and Campana comes out. So now we have here a wishbone tee here as Ohio State from the 28-yard line gets the ball. The ball is handed off to Brockington, who cracks off left guard, crosses the 30, goes to the 31, and appears to have the first down of the ball game. John Brockington, the ball carrier, stopped by Dennis Moore, the right side linebacker of Stanford. We're going to mark it at the Ohio State 31, so it is a first down, and that's the first down of the game. Tom Campana comes back in at halfback, and out goes Rick Galvos of Ohio State. So evidently the Buckeyes are going to be shuttling halfbacks in and out of the game. Wide to the right comes Jankowski. 1st and 10, line of scrimmage, the Buckeye 31. Kern rolling right, may pass, may run. He's going to run, gets inside the 30, gets to the 32, and is touchdown. Kern, the ball carrier, had very little running room. The Stanford secondary came up quickly. Jack Schultz came up with an assist from Jeff Seaman, and they knocked Kern down at the 32-yard line, a pickup of 1, 2nd down and 9. Play has just started. Ohio State has 1 first down. Stanford has not had possession of the ball as yet. 2nd down and 9, line of scrimmage, the 32. Kern with the ball, rolling left, drops back to pass, throws one upfield over the head of Jankowski at the 44-yard line, incomplete. Jankowski with the intended receiver, Ben Barnes, a drop back on pass defense for Stanford. So there is the first pass of the game, and Kern overthrows his split end, Bruce Jankowski. Kern came into this game completing 41 of 85 passes for a total of 430 yards. Ohio does not go to the air much. 3rd and 9 now, line of scrimmage, the 32-yard line. Possession play here for Ohio State. Wide to the left is Jankowski, single coverage on him. The backs are in an eye. Kern straight back to pass, rushes on, the pass is thrown. Caught by Heaton, goes out of bounds at the Stanford 47. A pass thrown to the short side of the field to Leo Hayden, who released, went out in the right flat, caught the ball over his head right at the sideline at the Ohio 48, and then stepped out of bounds at the Stanford 48-yard line. So it is another first down for Ohio State as a Rex Kern to Leo Hayden checkoff pass is good down to the Stanford 48. 2 first downs for Ohio State now. Wide to the left goes Jankowski. The tight end to the right is Jan White. Now they're in the wishbone T formation. Jankowski shifts up on the line of scrimmage. Kern on an option. Goes to the 44. Kern, the ball carrier, cut inside his own right guard after faking to the fullback and got short yardage to the Stanford 44, a pickup of 4. Ron Hazel, defensive left linebacker for Stanford, stops the play. So it is 2nd down and 6 to go now. Ohio State's ball at the Stanford 44-yard line. First quarter, no score. This is the first possession for Ohio State. Again, it's the wishbone tee. Kern with the ball, fakes to Brockington, now pitches the ball back to Campana. He's at the Stanford 40, and that's it as he tries to turn the corner. Campana is cut down by Dave Tipton, who played off the blocking nicely, dropped back, and then caught Campana as he went to turn the corner at the Stanford 40. It is, however, a pickup of 4 more yards. So it'll be third down for Ohio State. And about 2. Third and 2, line of scrimmage to Stanford 40. Now the backs are in a straight tee. This time it's given to Brockington. Brockington hammers off left guard. I don't know whether he got it or not. It's a big pile up around the 38-yard line. And from here, I would say Brockington is short. But we'll wait for the official to set the ball down. Brockington, the ball carrier, hit behind his own left guard, Dick Kuhn, and he is definitely short of a first down. It would appear to be a good yard short now because they're marking it at the 39. Dave Tipton stopped the play nicely, although he had an assist from Larry Butler and from Dennis Moore. So here's a big play, 4th and 1. It means possession. Ohio State again in a straight T formation. The backs are in close, the ends are tight. Kern with the ball on the option play. Can't get rid of it, hit behind the line of scrimmage, and Stanford holds. The Stanford's right side broke through. Greg Sampson and Dennis Moore stopped Rex Kern before he could pitch the ball off on an option play, and they mark it dead at the Stanford 41-yard line.
Marv, ball control is Ohio State's game. They held the ball in this drive some 4.5 to 5 minutes, unable to convert on that particular third down play. They had converted on a third down play previously, and that could give Stanford a lot of defensive confidence here in the opening stage of this game.
Indeed it could, Don. That was a big play there. Now there's a timeout with the score Stanford nothing, Ohio State nothing.
Soaring prices, galloping inflation, shrinking dollars. Maybe in light of it all, you've decided to hold on to your present car for another year. If so, here's something you should know about. STP oil treatment. It could be just what you're looking for to prolong the life of your car. Keep it running smoother, quieter, longer. Why STP oil treatment? STP gives you the extra lubrication you need to fight the damaging friction and wear that lead to expensive repairs, shorten engine life. But STP helps cut friction, cut wear, better than ordinary motor oil alone ever could. So have your service station add STP to your oil and get the edge on longer engine life.
All right, it's Stanford's ball, first down and 10, the line of scrimmage, the Stanford 41-yard line. Unfortunately, the official scoreboard clock is not working now, so we have no idea how much time remains. Plunkett calling signals from the 41, long count. Plunkett on an option, reverses the ball to Cross. Cross around the right side of the 40, the 45, the 50, the Ohio 45, the 40. He's down to the 30, down to the 25, still on his feet, knocked down at about the 18-yard line. A deep reverse from Plunkett to Eric Cross, and Cross completely caught the left side of the Ohio State line off guard, and Cross went all the way down to the Ohio 18.
Marv Cross is in there for Randy Vataha. That's a bit of trickery out of the Stanford playbook. They had conceived that as that would be their opening play of the game, and it has worked successfully, as it's the Buckeyes needing a defensive stand now.
All right, first and 10 for the Stanford Indians from the Ohio State 18-yard line. And didn't Stanford get off to a great start? Plunkett on a long count, calling signals. The ball still hasn't been snapped. Gets the ball, drops back to throw a pass, throws one in the end zone. Touchdown! The ball forward. Stanford in 2 plays has converted and has a touchdown. The ball forward. Let's see, is it being called back? There's a discussion out there. Illegal procedure is called against Stanford. So there is a tough break for the Indians. Illegal procedure called against Stanford. A 5-yard step off. Forget the touchdown. And Stanford now will face a 1st and 15 situation from the 22-yard line, and the Indians have struck with electrifying suddenness on a deep reverse to Eric Cross all the way down from the 41-yard line in Stanford territory to the Ohio State 18. Then they hit on a touchdown pass. However, it was called back because of a penalty. Plunkett from a split-back formation again uses the long count. The ball has not been passed from center. Plunkett on an option play goes to the 20, straight up the field to the 10. He's still on his feet and knocked down finally at the 9-yard line, and a flag is down. A personal foul will be called against Ohio State. Plunkett dropped back to pass, and on an option, he found an alley up the middle and ran beautifully all the way down to the 9-yard line, and now a personal foul has been called on Ohio State, so an additional half the distance penalty moves Stanford just inside the 5.
There's an indication, Marv, of the heat of spirit at which this Stanford team has come onto this stadium floor today, rebounding from adversity, as was the case on the touchdown pass called back, and then Jimmy Plunkett on that quarterback draw through the middle.
First and goal for Stanford now, just inside the 5. The ball is handed off to Jackie Brown. Brown runs off right guard to about the 3-yard line. Brown, the ball carrier. Jim Stillwagon submarines on the play and piles it up. He had an assist from Ralph Holloway. Sensabaugh was also in there. And they're going to mark it at about the 3.5-yard line. He didn't quite get to the 3. So it is second and goal. Line of scrimmage, the 3.5-yard line, as Stanford has looked very, very sharp in moving that football. Plunkett looks over the defense. It's a 6-man line for Ohio State. The ball is given off to Brown on a sweep. He is over. Touchdown, Stanford. Over right in. Jackie Brown goes over. A fine block by Dan Lightfoot. Opened the pass, and Jackie Brown goes over to score. And the Stanford Indians quickly go into the lead 6-0. Very well-executed drive, although it didn't take Stanford long to get down there. Eric Cross got the big gainer on a deep reverse, got it all the way down to the 18-yard line. Plunkett hit on what appeared to be a touchdown pass. It was called back. Then Plunkett ran down to the 4, and Brown went over on the second try. Horowitz tries the extra point. It's high. It's good. And the Stanford Indians take the lead now by a score of 7-0. There's a timeout on the field. The score, Stanford 7, Ohio State nothing.
Kohler kitchens are bewitching rooms to see. They are modern and designed in quality. Professionals who plan with care will make your home beyond compare. Call Kohler Kitchens, live in luxury.
Kohler Kitchens has many ideas on how to make your kitchen more beautiful for the new year. With the help of products by such famous names as Corning, Amana, Woodmode, Waste King, and many more. The folks at Kohler Kitchens, 100 Edward Street, Schenectady, will be more than happy to talk over your ideas with you or suggest new ideas for your approval. The kitchen is one of the busiest rooms in the house, so make it one of the most beautiful with the help of Kohler Kitchens.
No home is complete without a room by Kohler Kitchens.
Kohler Kitchens, exclusive distributors of Woodmode kitchens.
And now, once again, it's Marv Homan with Don Klein here in the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California, where the Stanford Indians have gone 59 yards in 4 plays to take the lead over the Ohio State Buckeyes 7-0. We're in the first quarter. Unfortunately, we cannot give you the official time because the scoreboard timing device is not operating properly. Stanford now will kick off to Ohio State. Steve Horowitz is the place-kicking specialist. Bruce Jankowski, John Brockington, and Rick Galbos go deep for Ohio State. The Indians lead 7-0, and it didn't take them long to get on the scoreboard. Horowitz has the ball teed up at the south 40-yard line, runs forward and boots it. Nice, high, long one going downfield. Jankowski takes it at the 1. He's at the 5, the 10, angles to the 15, the 20, the 25, and that's all. Knocked down at the 25-yard line. Alexander is the first one downfield to stop him, so the Ohio State Buckeyes take over 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. Kern will be directing the Ohio State attack. Hayden, Brockington, and Zelina round out the backfield. White and Jankowski at the ends. About 7 minutes remain here in the first quarter. All right, Ohio out of the huddle into the wishbone tee. The ball is given off to Brockington, the first man through. Brockington knifes out to the 29-yard line. He just followed wedge blocking, led by center Tom DeLone, with Kuhn and Strickland also clearing the way. Moore and Seaman stop him for Stanford. The ball is resting at the Ohio State 29-yard line. It'll be a pickup of 4, second down and 6 to go. Stanford leads 7-0 as the Indians went 59 yards in 4 plays. Again, it's the wishbone tee. Kern pitches the ball back wide to Hayden. Hayden slips and falls back to the 25. The pitch out was not too good, and Hayden tried to look over his left shoulder and feel the ball. Well, he got the ball all right and then fell. Back at the 25-yard line, a loss on the play. So now Ohio State has lost the 4 yards it gained on the previous play. It is now 3rd and 10. Seaman was putting the pressure on Kern on that particular play and forced Kern to pitch the ball back. Again, Ohio comes out of the huddle this time, and they're in the I formation with Jankowski wide to the left. Kern rolling left to pass, throws one upfield to Jankowski. It's incomplete at the Ohio 38-yard line out of bounds. Defending on the play was Don Barnes. Incompleted pass, Ohio State runs out of downs, and now the Buckeyes will have to kick. Technically, first downs are even 2 and 2, but far more important than that, Stanford has the lead 7-0. Little Randy Bataha goes deep for Stanford, along with Eric Cross. Gary Lago in the kick for Ohio State. The line of scrimmage, the Buckeye 25. Lago was the regular kicker throughout the season. Under pressure, Lago kicks high downfield. The fair catch is called for and made by Eric Cross at the Stanford 48-yard line. So the Indians will take over 1st and 10 at their own 48, and Stanford gets good field position on Ohio State. That punt carried only 27 yards. Stanford's ball, 1st and 10, the line of scrimmage, the Stanford 48-yard line. 8 minutes remaining, they say now, in the second period. Stanford leads 7-0. Stanford comes out of the huddle. They line up in an I formation. Plunkett calling signals. Now they shift into a split-back formation. Shockley is the fullback. Plunkett on a long count gets the ball, fakes it, drops back to pass, throws one upfield. It is caught beautifully by Bob Moore. He's at the 40 to 35. He's tackled at the 35-yard line. A little quick end pass to the tight end, Bob Moore. Moore caught it at the 40, went forward 5 more yards to the 35. Ken Lutner, who had dropped back on pass defense, makes the tackle. All right, that's the 3rd first down for Stanford now. And again, Stanford is in good field position here. They own it at the Buckeye 35-yard line. Again, the backs shift into a split-back formation. Plunkett against a 6-man defensive line. Gets the ball, drops back to pass, has good protection, throws it out in the flat. It's caught by DeMia Washington, and he's out of bounds at the 24. The pass is caught by Washington. He goes out of bounds at the Ohio State 24, and that appears to be another first down. That's the 4th Stanford first down of the game.
Marv, a case there of the Buckeyes trying to break through and put a pass rush on Plunkett. They thereby weakened their pass coverage on the near side. And this is, of course, the pressure on the Ohio State defense to put the pressure on Jim or to drop off those linebackers and cover the receivers. It's a tough question, a tough decision to make.
1st and 10 for Stanford at the Ohio State 24-yard line. They shift into a split-back formation to the right. Back to pass goes Plunkett, has time, throws it out in the flat. The ball is dropped. It's free. A big scramble. Let's see who gets it. Let's see how they call it. Brown was the intended receiver. Let's see how they're going to call it. Brown is still down, and it's Ohio. There's a Stanford man hurt on the play back at about the 22-yard line. That's Jackie Brown, who caught the ball and was really blasted by one of the Ohio State secondary men. The ball popped loose, and there was a big pileup at about the 19-yard line. Now they say there's a little confusion now as to who got the ball. Ohio State got it. There is a timeout on the field. The score is Stanford 7, Ohio State nothing.
A lot of auto racing going on this time of year is a race you run every day to get your car started and the heater warmed up. This is Andy Garnatelli here to tell you how STP can help you win that race too. It's pretty discouraging to get into your car on a bitter cold morning and just sit there while your battery runs down. But usually it's not your battery that's giving you the trouble. Overnight, your motor oil has run off engine parts and it's too stiff in the cold to help you get started. Your battery runs down from plain cold friction. But STP oil treatment stays up all night cleaning to engine parts. Gives you all that extra lubrication you need to help get faster starts. So this winter, remember your STP.
Hillary Shockley of Stanford made the recovery on the last play at Stanford's ball at the Ohio State 19-yard line. The official ruling was Stanford had it. There's a give to Merrill. Merrill cracks off right tackle, finds a hole, gets inside the 15. He's all the way down to the 13-yard line. A good run by Jim Merrill. And there is another first down for Stanford as Jim Stillwagon and Stan White make the tackle for Ohio State. So the Stanford Indians playing very, very well today. Really moving against that vaunted Ohio State defense. First and 10, Stanford. The line of scrimmage, the Buckeye 13-yard line. Plunkett calling signals. Split back formation for Stanford. Plunkett with the ball. Drops back to pass. Throws the little one out in the flat. It's incomplete. Aimed at Merrill at the 7-yard line. Led him a little too much. Jack Tatum was covering for Ohio State along with Stan White. Incompleted pass. It is second down now and 10 to go. The ball comes back to the Ohio State 13-yard line. Stanford leads 7-0 as the Indians win 59 yards in 4 plays on the first possession to score. Wide to the right goes Washington of Stanford. Wide to the left is Bataha. So here's the virtual spread formation. Split back formation. Plunkett is the quarterback. Plunkett on a long count gets the ball, drops back to pass as Rice is in trouble, thrown down at the 20-yard line. This time, Stanford's pass protection could not keep Ohio State out. And the tackle is made. And now let's pause 10 seconds for station identification.
This is Steve Fitz, your contact host. Call us weeknights from 8 to midnight, here on the fresh air sound of Radio 81, WGY Schenectady.
It's third down and 17 now for Stanford. The line of scrimmage is the 20-yard line in Ohio State territory. A big play here for the Indians. Plunkett with the ball, dropping back to pass, has good protection, goes in the end zone, over the head of Bataha, incomplete. Bataha had a 2-step advantage on Jack Tatum of Ohio State, who was covering him since the ball was coming from across the way, and Bataha had the edge, and Plunkett led him just a bit too much. Incompleted pass. It is 4th and 17. And Steve Horowitz will come in to try a field goal for Stanford. Horowitz this year is 9 of 19 in field goals. He'll be attempting it from the 27-yard line, so this would be a 37-yard field goal attempt. It is set down. Horowitz boots it. It's high. It has the distance. It is good. And Stanford leads 10-0. On a 37-yard field goal by Steve Horowitz. So the Indians of Stanford have scored the first 2 times they have had the ball, and they lead Ohio State 10-0.
Marv, I'd like to mention right now, I know that he wishes he were here in person. President Richard Nixon was unable to attend today's game. The president, we understand, passed his 4 tickets on to the wife and family of a prisoner of war. And our greetings to listeners not only throughout the United States, but through the worldwide facilities of American Forces Radio Network, to our servicemen overseas, our special New Year's greetings to the young men and women serving in Vietnam, to those on ships at sea and via the satellite to Americans everywhere in Europe. Our greetings from Pasadena, California, the home of the Rose Bowl.
All right, Stanford's Horowitz prepares to kick off to Ohio State. The run forward, the boot, another nice, long, high one going downfield. It drives Jankowski back in the end zone. He comes out to the 5, the 10, the 15, the 20, the 25, into the 30, the 35, tackled at the 35-yard line. Bruce Jankowski running up the far east sideline, took it 2 yards deep in the end zone and brings it back to the 35. Horowitz, the young man who kicked the ball, also made the tackle. All right, here's Ohio out of the huddle. They're in the wishbone T formation. The ball is Kern pitching the ball back on a deep reverse to Jankowski. Jankowski to 35, to 40, to 45, to 50, around right end to Stanford 40, east of the 30, he's out of bounds in the neighborhood of the Stanford 28-yard line. A deep reverse and a pitch out from Kern to Jankowski. That's the first time Ohio has used that this year. And Jankowski, who was a converted halfback, raced all the way down to the Stanford 28-yard line. So we have a lot of offense today. Dave Tipton makes the stop for Stanford. First and 10, Ohio, line of scrimmage, the 28-yard line. Kern with the ball, mix up in the backfield. Kern might have lost a yard. Kern had no place to go. He wanted to give the ball off to Galvos and couldn't do it. The play was stopped by Butler, Lazatich, and Tipton, who comprised 3 of the 4 Stanford front linemen. Now Larry Zelina comes in at halfback, and out will go Rick Galvos for Ohio State. Second down, still 10. The line of scrimmage is about the 28-yard line in Stanford territory. Here is the wishbone T for Ohio. Kern with the ball on the option play is caught behind the line of scrimmage, reverses his field, east of the 30 to Stanford, 25 to 20, still on his feet at the 15, doubles the ball out of bounds. Tremendous run by Kern. The ball goes out of bounds somewhere around the 5-yard line. Kern was completely hemmed in, was going to get caught behind the line of scrimmage, wiggled away from a tackler, reversed his field, came to the west sideline, vaulted over 2 tacklers, and finally Moore belted him out, knocked the ball loose, and the ball goes out at the Stanford 6. So it is first and goal for Ohio State at the 6-yard line. And if you like offense in football, we have it today. Stanford and Ohio State. First and goal at the 6-yard line. Straight T formation. Brockington runs off right guard and goes 2 yards from the 6 to about the 4-yard line, and he might be near the 3. We'll wait for the official to unpile him. John Brockington, the ball carrier, and they're going to mark it at the 3-yard line, so it is a pickup of 3. As Larry Butler, 232-pound junior from Lakewood, California, stops the play. Second and goal, line of scrimmage to Stanford 3. We're in the first quarter. Stanford leads 10-0. Kern, against a goal line defense, hands the ball off to Brockington, who hits off left guard to the 1. Brockington, the ball carrier for Ohio State. He holds the school record of 1,040 yards prior to the day in rushing, and Brockington knights off left guard to the 1-yard line. So it is third down. And goal at the 1 is Moore and Seaman make the last tackle for Stanford. Ohio out of the huddle into a straight T formation. The backs are in close, the ends are in tight. Kern with the ball, hands off to Brockington, touchdown off right guard. Brockington goes in to score. That's his 16th touchdown of the year, and Ohio State gets on the board. So it is 10-6 now. Stanford on top. As John Brockington powers over from the 1-yard line, they called on Brockington 3 successive times from the 6. Fred Schramm will be in to try the extra point. Campana holding at the 10-yard line. It's set down, it's kicked, it's high, it's good. So it is 10-7 now, with the Stanford Indians on top, and now the Ohio State Buckeyes have scored. So now Ohio State will be kicking off to Stanford. We've had 3 scores here in the first quarter. 2 touchdowns, 1 by each team, and then a 37-yard field goal by Steve Horowitz of Stanford.
You know, Marv, I have to mention the fact that Stanford President Dr. Richard Lyman, speaking at the kickoff luncheon at the Pasadena Civic Auditorium, acknowledged Stanford's image as the Ivy League school of the West, famed the world over, of course, for its scholars and academic pursuits. But that, said Dr. Lyman, is only one phase of the Stanford scene. The young men on the field today, fine students all, did not come to Pasadena to hold seminars. Along the same note, Woody Hayes is proud of the academic achievements of his football players. Woody impressing on them their chief purpose at Ohio State University is their education and their graduation, the combination of academics and intercollegiate athletics, the blend of pursuits by students that is so meaningful to their campus community.
Stan White prepares to kick off for Ohio State, kicks it downfield. It carries down to Eric Cross. He'll take it at the 12. He's at the 15, the 20, angles to the 25, on his feet at the 30, and that's it. Wrapped up at the 30-yard line. Eric Cross returns it. A flag is down. A flag has been dropped at the 27-yard line, and the preliminary indication is clipping against Stanford. So the Indians may draw a 15-yard penalty from the point of foul here for a clipping violation. Don Lamka made the tackle of Eric Cross on the kickoff. Ohio State in that last drive went 65 yards in 7 plays, with the big gainers being the deep pitch back on an end around to Jankowski and that electrifying, almost incredible run by Rex Kern. Incredible, not so much from a standpoint of distance, but from the standpoint it was a completely broken play and the number of tacklers that he was able to elude. Stanford now has been penalized back to their own 13-yard line. It is 1st and 10. Approximately 3 minutes remain here in the first period. Stanford is out of the huddle. The ball is Plunkett dropping back to pass, has a lot of time, throws the long bomb downfield. It is knocked down at the Ohio State 48-yard line. And what a pass Plunkett threw. He really threw that football. Harry Howard was racing downfield with Randy Vataha, step for step, and Howard was able to knock it down at the 40-yard line.
Actually, Marv, I think Vataha had in his last moment of desperation, I think he was afraid it was going to be intercepted. I think they were both trying to knock it down along with Howard.
All right, it's Stanford's ball, 2nd and 10. Line of scrimmage, the Stanford 13-yard line. Wide to the right goes Washington. The backs are in an I, and now they shift into a split-back formation. Plunkett against a 4-man line, fakes the draw, puts it out to the side. It's caught by Brown at the 10. He's at the 15, the 20, cut down at the 21-yard line. Jackie Brown catches it out in the left flat, got a good block from Bill Myers, and Brown, with good speed, runs it down to the Stanford 21-yard line. It is short of the first down as Tim Anderson comes up from the secondary to make the stop with an assist from All-American Jim Stillwagon of Ohio State. So it is 3rd down and 2. Stanford's ball on Stanford's 21-yard line. And now this is a possession play. 3rd and 2 at the 21. John Sandy, the center, gets out over the ball. Plunkett looks over a 6-man defensive line. He needs 2 yards here. Gets the ball, drops back to pass. Has a lot of time, throws it upfield. It's incomplete. Shockley was the intended receiver. White defending for Ohio State. It's incomplete. Out on the right flat. So Stanford, with a 3rd and 2, goes to the air. And there, of course, is the big difference between the two teams. The pass was incomplete. It brings up a kicking situation. And Steve Murray, who is Stanford's punter, runs into the game. Murray has punted 37 times this year, averaging 33 6/10 yards per kick. Tim Anderson is the deep man for Ohio State. Line of scrimmage, the Stanford 21. Perfect pass from center, not much of a rush. Murray's kick, however, is a floater upfield that takes a Stanford bounce, crosses the 50, goes to the Ohio 45, and will be killed at the 45-yard line. So the Buckeyes get possession, 1st and 10 at their own 45, and Stanford leading 10-7. Bear in mind that 2 years ago in the Rose Bowl game in which Ohio State and Southern California played, Southern Cal led Ohio State 10-0. Here's Ohio coming out of the huddle. Wide to the right comes Bruce Jankowski. He has already made his presence felt. The backs are in a wishbone tee. Kern on the option play to the right, keeps the ball, cuts in, goes to the 50, the 40, the 30, he's down to the 25, a tremendous run by Kern. And again, he vaulted over one of the Stanford would-be tacklers. Kern on the option play had a little hole Really not much of one, and got through. And then when you get him into the secondary, it is trouble. And Kern goes down to the 23-yard line. Dennis Moore makes the stop. That's the 5th first down now for Ohio State. Line of scrimmage, the Stanford 22. Again, it's the wishbone tee. Kern options to the left. May run. Going to keep it. Goes to about the 20. Kern, the ball carrier, got about 2 as Stanford made him keep the ball, made him cut outside the tackle, inside the end, and they tackle him at the 20-yard line. He's a little bit inside the 20, but it's nearer there to avoid any fraction. So it is 2nd down and 8. Line of scrimmage is the Stanford 20. The backs line up in an I. The ball is given to Brockington, who tries to go over the top and gets to the 16. Brockington, the ball carrier, went up over the top as Tom DeLone fired out from the center, and Brockington gets to the 16. Pierre Perrault is there along with Jeff Seaman to stop him. 3rd down and about 3. Line of scrimmage is the 10. Just outside the 10. Kern getting the ball, pitches back to Hayden. Hayden around the left side, fights his way down to the 13-yard line, and that'll be close to a first down. Hayden, the ball carrier, on that pitch-out sweep. Gets the first down. There's the designation from the official, first down, Ohio State. That's the 6th Ohio State first down as Pat Moore comes up from the safety spot to stop him, along with Pierre Perrault of Stanford. And now, let's see, Ohio State is going to call a timeout as the Buckeyes want to talk things over. We're late in the first quarter. We cannot give you the exact time because the scoring mechanism is not operating properly. There's an Ohio State player limping, and that is Rex Kern. Kern comes limping over to the sideline, and we'll see whether or not he can remain in the game. Evidently, Ron Masajowski is going to have to go in to replace him. So that would be an immeasurable loss to Ohio State, were Kern not able to continue.
You know, looking down at this crowd right now, the Ohio State rooting section, and all the color prevailing here, Marv, the Rose Bowl conjuring up a surge of memories of many of football's greatest moments, gridiron milestones, and the last ride of Notre Dame's Elmer Layden, Don Miller, Harry Stuhlbreier, and Jim Crowley, the 4 horsemen of the immortal Newt Rockne right here in Pasadena, the gallant play and defeat of Stanford's Ernie Nevers, Washington's George Wilson, who will forget his heroics, remember the wrong way run of California's Roy Regals, the astonishing upset by Columbia in the torrential rains of 1934, and Doyle Nave's last-minute touchdown pass that wiped out a scoreless season for Duke. Tremendous memories, and this game will add to them, I'm sure.
Ron Masajowski is in there at quarterback for Ohio State. There's a fumble in the backfield. Masajowski falls on it and then fights his way back to about the 11-yard line. Masajowski fumbled the snap from center. A little unfamiliarity there between DeLone and Masajowski, so often that does happen. And now here comes Kern back in the lineup for Ohio State, and that means that Masajowski will go out. Kern was flexing his knee when he came out, so that could have been the problem. It's 2nd and 11 now. Line of scrimmage is back on about the 13-yard line. Kern with the ball, dropping back to pass, may run. Going to run with it. He is to the 10, gets away from the tackler and fights his way forward to the 7. Kern was hit back at the 10 and just squirmed forward and made a dive and got it to the 7-yard line where Larry Butler put him down for good. They're going to mark it at the Stanford 7-yard line. 3rd down now for Ohio State. And approximately 5.5 to 6 yards to go for a first down. And there the gun sounds. That's the end of the first quarter with a score, Stanford 10, Ohio State 7.
This is Joe Garagio. You know, the tail end of football season is an odd time to be talking about air conditioning, unless you're talking to the Dodge boys. Right now, Dodge is taking more than 1/2 off the sticker price of factory-installed air conditioning on specially equipped Dodge Polaris and Monacos. Now, these special packages include an automatic transmission, power steering, power disc brakes, a radio, vinyl roof, and more. Plus, factory-installed air conditioning at more than 1/2 off the sticker price. Now, that's $218 off sticker. And great engineering features like torsion bar suspension and unibody construction are standard on all Polaras and Monicos. So if you figure you've gone long enough without air conditioning, forget it's football season and see the specially equipped Polaras and Monicos today at the Dodge Boys. You'll appreciate the value now, and you'll appreciate the air conditioning next baseball season.
Now as we start the second quarter here from the Rose Bowl, it'll be Ohio State's ball, 3rd down and 6 to go. The line of scrimmage will be the 7.5-yard line, so this is a very, very important play for the Ohio State Buckeyes. 3rd down and 6 to go. The line of scrimmage is at about the 6.5 to 7-yard line. Stanford leads 10 to 7 as the Indians scored the first 2 times Stanford had the ball.
Marv, each team has had the ball 3 times for 3 drives. The longest drive has been Ohio State's 65-yard effort, starting from their 35, in which Brockington went over from the 1-yard line. The big play of that one, of course, the drive, the 37-yard run by Jankowski, and then the 22-yard gallop by Kern. The Indians' longest drive has gone 59 yards. They've scored off that one, of course, on Brown's 3-yard end around, and then the field goal by Horowitz, 10-7. Art?
All right, here we go. Kern with the ball on the option, puts the ball back to Galvos. Galvos at the 5, the 4, the 3-yard line, and is pulled down as he tries to get outside the left end, and Stanford would not allow it. Larry Butler makes the tackle for Stanford, and he's played very, very well. Butler hauls him down at about the 3-yard line. They're sighting it across the way and going to call for a measurement, although it would appear that it might be a bit short. But let's see. Chains are being brought in. There's the measurement taken, and Ohio State is going to be short by about a foot. 4th down and about a foot to go at the 3-yard line. So this makes the situation rather sticky. 4th down and a foot. Here comes some instructions in from the Ohio State bench. Brian Donovan is the messenger boy in this particular instance. 4th down and a foot to go. The line of scrimmage to Stanford 3. Ohio State lines up in a straight T formation. Kern raises his arms, calling for quiet. The backs are in close. Stanford's defense is jammed in there tight. Signals are called by Kern. Kern giving to Brockington, and looks like they get to about the 2-yard line, and it looks like a first down as John Brockington rams off right tackle. Gets it into the 2-yard line, and that'll be a first down for Ohio State, it would appear. Now, the official says it's so close we've got to measure. So, just as the other one appeared that it was going to be short, this one appears that Ohio State has it. But, of course, you can't blame Stanford for wanting a measurement. This is too important. Measurement is taken. It is a first down by more than the length of the football. So it is 1st and goal now at the 2-yard line. And Ohio has the big backs in there. That would be Hayden, Brockington, and Galvos, along with quarterback Rex Kern. 10 to 7. Stanford clinging to a rather shaky now 3-point lead. Ohio State has 4 cracks at it from about the 2-yard line. Brockington, touchdown over left guard. John Brockington goes ramming over left guard, following Brian Donovan, scores the touchdown, and now for the first time today, Ohio State takes the lead on Stanford. It is 13 to 10. As Ohio scores in the first 36 seconds here of the second period. Fred Schramm comes in to try the extra point. Schramm is 32 of 35 this year. Holding is Tom Campana. It's set down. Schramm kicks it. It's high. It's good. So, with a timeout on the field, the score is Ohio State 14, Stanford 10.
Would you look at how that guy's floating along?
Andy, they're playing all song.
Dolly, you've heard it a jillion times.
Never get tired of it.
I should get tired of this traffic, I'll tell you that much, and I told you so.
Andy Granatelli, remember those Sunday drives in the old days?
Try driving nowadays.
Well, you're involved in automobile things. Now, why can't you do something about it?
I have.
You have? What?
Improved STP gasoline treatment.
Well, how's that help traffic?
It doesn't. It helps cars. Cars need all the help they can get in this kind of traffic. Now, when you add it to your gas, it helps clean your spark plugs better, your carburetor better, so you're helping to clean and tune your engine as you drive.
The whole time we're driving, huh, Andy?
And sitting, Dolly, and sitting.
Help clean your spark plugs better, your carburetor better. Help clean and tune your engine as you drive with new improved STP gasoline treatment. Now at your service station. You'll feel the difference.
And now, once again, it's Marv Homan with Don Klein. We're in the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. We have just started play here in the second period. The score is Ohio State 14, Stanford 10. We have used just 26 seconds here in the second period. Don?
Marv, that has to be of some concern to John Ralston and his defensive coaches over on the other side of the field, Bob Gamble, Ed Peasley, Max McCartney. They can recall incidents of a similar nature where they stopped Arkansas inside the 5 on a fourth down play. They recall the USC game stopping them twice inside the 5. They have been unable to cope with this on-rushing ground attack of the Buckeyes on 2 occasions now.
Flight of Ohio State kicks off. Brown takes it 2 yards deep in the end zone, comes out to the 5, to the 10, reverses to Eric Cross, and he's going to get hit at the 11. Brown took the ball 2 yards deep in the end zone, then reversed to Eric Cross. Cross took it at about the 8, took about 1 step forward, and then wham! He was hit and dropped at the 11-yard line by John Sonny Hughes, who was the first man downfield on punt coverage. So Stanford takes over 1st and 10 at the Indian 11-yard line. Play has just started here in the second period. The score is 14-10 now. Ohio State on top. Notre Dame upset Texas today. Down in the Cotton Bowl, and that's a big one. 24-11, the Irish winning. Plunkett looks over a 6-man line, gets the ball, drops back to pass, completes it to Bataha, who had slipped and fell at the 15-yard line. An amazing catch by Bataha. Plunkett threw the ball perfectly. Bataha had his feet go out from under him and was actually sitting down, and Plunkett just laid the ball right there. A perfectly thrown pass. So there was no tackle, of course, on the play because Bataha was already down. It is, however, a 5-yard gain from the 11 to the 16, second down and 5 to go. Plunkett shifts his backs. Shockley and Brown in the running back spots. Plunkett hands off to Shockley. Shockley hits into the middle and is hit at the line of scrimmage. No gain. George Hazenall is waiting on him and stops him there at the 16-yard line. We haven't had many running plays for Stanford today. Third down and 5. The ball is still at the 16-yard line. Again, the Indians come out of the huddle. Wide to the left is Bataha. Split to the right is Lassiter. Split back formation for Stanford. 4-man front for Ohio State. Now they go into a 5. Long count. Plunkett gets the ball. Gets beautiful protection. Drops back to pass. Throws it over the middle. It is caught at the 24-yard line. First down, Stanford. Plunkett got superb protection. And he just laid it right in there to Bob Moore. Moore caught it at the 24, and Don Lemke got him at the 24, but not before Stanford gets a first down. 5 first downs now for Stanford, 7 for Ohio State. 12 minutes and 48 seconds remaining in the second period. Wide to the left is Bataha. Line of scrimmage to Stanford 24. 6-man line for Ohio State. Now they drop a linebacker off. Back to passes, Plunkett. Gets good protection again. Throws it in the flat. It is knocked down incomplete. Bob Moore was the intended receiver. Jack Tatum took a swipe at the ball, missed it, and it was incomplete. Tatum was not going for the interception, but he did try to deflect the ball, and suddenly he found himself in the embarrassing position of running under it. However, the pass was thrown a little too high for the intended receiver, and it is incomplete. Second and 10, Stanford. Line of scrimmage, the Indian 24. Plunkett getting that ball, drops back to pass, throws over the middle, it's incomplete. Incomplete at the 32-yard line. Hillary Shockley was the intended receiver. Jack Tatum defending for Ohio State. Incompleted pass, so the ball comes back to the Stanford 24-yard line. Brings up a third down situation. Big play here, 3rd and 10, line of scrimmage, the Stanford 24. Ohio State leading 14-10, but not before Stanford scored the first 10 points of the game. All right, spread formation here, Bataha to the left, Lassiter to the right. Shockley is the sole running back. Back to pass now goes Plunkett. Has time, throws it in the flat. It's caught by Shockley at the 30, and he's dumped at the 32. Shockley caught the ball coming out of the backfield, was cut down at the 32-yard line, short of a first down, and now Stanford runs out of downs. Jim Plunkett goes to the sideline, and Murray checks in for Stanford. He is the Stanford punter. 4th down, 2 to go, line of scrimmage, the 32-yard line. Lutner and Anderson made the last tackle for Ohio State. Murray back to kick. Line of scrimmage, the Stanford 32. Tim Anderson, the deep man for Ohio State. Good pass from center. The rush is on. Murray gets the kick away. A fair catch is called for and made by Ohio State at the 40-yard line by Harry Howard. So the Buckeyes get possession, 1st and 10 at their own 40-yard line, as this time the defense was able to hold Stanford. Line, as this time the defense was able to hold Stanford. So now the offensive team reports in for Ohio State, and Stanford's defensive team is in there. Out of the huddle, Ohio State. Line of scrimmage, the Buckeye 40. Ohio lines up in this wishbone tee, which they have not used much this year. The ball is a deep reverse. It's given off to Jankowski. He's at the 30, the 35, the 40, and cut down on a nice tackle at the 44-yard line. An excellent tackle by Ben Barnes, and he saved Stanford about 10 or 15 additional yards there as Barnes made a good shoestring open field tackle to cut Jankowski down at the 44-yard line on that deep end around. The gain is just 4 yards. A lot of running, but most of it laterally. Kern with the ball, fakes, pitches the ball back to Galbos. Galbos at the 45, the 47, tackled at the 47 as he attempts to cut upfield. Jack Schultz, the safety man, stops him at the 47-yard line, and Jeff Seaman is there with an assist. They mark the ball at the Ohio State 47-yard line, 3rd down and 3 to go. Ohio State has 150 yards in rushing in the first quarter, 20 more, and no, it's 150 yards total. 3rd and 3, line of scrimmage, the Buckeye 47. Kern with the ball on the option play, keeps it, gets the first down. As he goes, no, not quite, as he gets to midfield. He may be short by about a foot. Kern was tackled at the 50-yard line. He tried to squirm forward and couldn't quite get there. As Jeff Seaman had a hold of him and wouldn't let go, and Jack Schultz put the finishing touches on. The ball is exactly at midfield, and they're 1 foot short of a first down. Gary Lago is reported in for Ohio State, and the Buckeyes are going to call timeout. And undoubtedly, Kern will come to the sideline and confer with head coach Woody Hayes. Now, knowing Rex Kern, he'll want to go for it. So there's a timeout on the field. The score is Ohio State 14, Stanford 10.
Kohler kitchens are bewitching rooms to see. They are modern and designed in quality. Professionals who plan with care will make your home beyond compare. Call Kohler Kitchens, live in luxury.
Kohler Kitchens has many ideas on how to make your kitchen more beautiful for the new year. With the help of products by such famous names as Corning, Amana, Woodmode, Waste King, and many more. The folks at Kohler Kitchens, 100 Edward Street, Schenectady, will be more than happy to talk over your ideas with you or suggest new ideas for your approval. The kitchen is one of the busiest rooms in the house, so make it one of the most beautiful with the help of Kohler Kitchens.
No home is complete without a room by Colder Kitchens.
Colder Kitchens, exclusive distributors of wood mode kitchens.
And now, before the next play, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification.
This is Steve Fitz, your contact host. Call us weeknights from 8 to midnight here on the fresh air sound of Radio 81 WGY Schenectady.
Well, evidently, Ohio State is going to go for it because Gary Lago has been taken out and the regular backs are in there. There is Brockington hammering off right guard. He's got the first down as he pulls his way down across the 50 to the Stanford 46-yard line. Incidentally, at this point, Ohio State has 31 plays from scrimmage to Stanford's 20. So Stanford, with a whirlwind beginning, just looked like they were going to run Ohio State right out of here, is now finding themselves playing more and more defense. 1st and 10 for Ohio State. The line of scrimmage is the Stanford 46-yard line. Kern calling signals from the wishbone tee. Kern goes straight up the middle, crosses the 40, gets to the Stanford 39. Kern, cutting to the left of his center, Tom DeLone, found a hole and got it down 6 more yards to the 39-yard line, where Seaman and Dennis Moore stop him. It'll be 2nd down and 3. Line of scrimmage, the Stanford 39. 5-man front for Stanford with 3 linebackers. The Bucks are in the wishbone tee. Kern with the ball, optioning. Gets inside the 35. He's to the 30. He's to the 25 and brought down at the 25-yard line. Kern, the ball carrier. Jack Schultz comes up from the secondary to stop him. It appeared that they had Kern at the 35. It appeared that they had him again at the 30. And somehow he got down to the 25-yard line. So Kern is doing an excellent job of running today. Kern has 90 yards in 11 carries so far today. Kern from the 25-yard line gets the ball, pitches it back to the halfback, Campana. He's at the 25, the 20, tackle at about the 20-yard line. Tom Campana, the ball carrier, and they may give him to the 19. Campana on that pitch-out sweep, and they're going to call it the 20-yard line. So Campana goes about 5, 2nd down and 5. Ben Barnes comes up from the right halfback spot to make the tackle. 2nd and 5 for Ohio State. The line of scrimmage, the Stanford 20. Again, it's the wishbone tee offense. Kern with the ball, handing off to Hayden. Hayden finds a hole. He's to the 15. He's to the 10. Tackled at the 10. Hayden, the ball carrier. A big hole was opened up on the right side by John Hicks. And the gain was down to the 10-yard line where Jim Kaufman and Jack Schultz move in to stop the play. Leo Hayden was the ball carrier, and the gain is to the 10-yard line. 1st and 10 for Ohio State. That's the 10th Buckeye first down now. Chuck Bonica comes in at guard for Ohio with some instructions from the bench. Kern with the ball, hands off to the 2nd man through. The gain is down to the 5-yard line. Larry Zelina, the ball carrier. And Zelina punches out about 5 more yards from the 10 down to the 5. So it is 2nd down and 5 at the 5, and Dave Tipton, 6'6" 230-pound senior from Hollister, California, stops the play. Zelina goes out, and Rick Galvos comes in at the halfback spot. 2nd and goal. Line of scrimmage, the 5-yard line. Kern with the ball, hands off, keeps it. Goes about to the 3. Kern faking beautifully to Brockington, rode Brockington all the way to the line of scrimmage, then pulled it out, cut behind Brockington, and got about 2 yards to the 3-yard line, where Pat Moore and Ron Cazel make the stop for Stanford. It is 3rd down and 3. The line of scrimmage is the Stanford 3. We're playing in the 2nd quarter. 6 minutes and 39 seconds remain, and the timeout has been called, as Ohio State wants to talk things over.
Marv, here, of course, again, is that supreme test on the Stanford defense. They have twice been unable to hold the Buckeyes. inside that 5-yard line as they had against earlier opponents this year. And, of course, the test now on third down at about the 3, and we'll see how they make out. There's a timeout now with the score. The Ohio State Buckeyes 14 and the Stanford University Indians 10.
We have to hurry.
Winter, when mornings look cold and forbidding, and if things look cold to you from inside, imagine how cold it is for your car on the outside. That's why when cold weather strikes, you need STP oil treatment. Your car sits in the cold all night. The oil drains all vital engine parts, drains down and stiffens in the crankcase. Comes morning and nothing can get that oil up or started. But STP oil treatment mixes with ordinary motor oil. Keeps it up all night, clinging to those engine parts. So on cold winter mornings, your car gets the lubrication it needs to start fast without running down your battery. This winter, make sure you've got STP oil treatment in your engine and get the edge on winter.
Third down and 3 for the Ohio State Buckeyes at the Stanford 3. Kern with a straight T formation looks over a 6-man front. Kern with the ball gives off to Hayden. Hayden at the 3, and that's all. A good, strong charge for the left side of the Stanford defense, and they wrap up Hayden right at the 3-yard line, and he might not even be due the 3. Yes, they're going to set it down right at the line of scrimmage. So now it is 4th down at the 3, and here comes Fred Schramm and Tom Campana into the lineup for Ohio State. So that could suggest a possible field goal. Schramm, so far this season, has kicked 6 of 11 field goals. This will be attempted, a severe angle to the right. It'll be kicked from the 10-yard line, so it'll be a 20-yarder. High pass from center. The kick is partially blocked, but it's no good. The kick is partially blocked by Ben Marv. He got a good, strong rush on the left side, and Barnes messed it up. So Stanford has held Ohio State a fine defensive stand. The Indians take over 1st and 10 on the 20.
Marv, that has to be a key move defensively for the Indians. As I mentioned before, they might have had some doubts in their defensive strategy. Would they be able to cope with this on-rushing Ohio State attack, which is pulverizing in its devastation on that forward line of the Indians? And by holding inside that 5-yard line, they can now recall similar successes earlier in the season. It could help them defensively. Back to Marv Homan.
All right, Stanford's ball, 1st and 10 at the 20. Back to pass goes Plunkett, throws it in the flat. It is caught out of bounds. No good. Bataha got the ball, but he was not quite in bounds when he got it, so the official called it immediately. Incompleted pass, 2nd down and 10. The ball comes back to the Stanford 20-yard line. 5 minutes and 53 seconds remain in play here in the second period, and Ohio State leads 14-10. But as long as Stanford has the ball, this Indian team is dangerous because Plunkett can sure hit you with a quickie. The backs shift into a split-back formation. Wide to the left is Lassiter. To the right is Bataha. Plunkett on a broken play, starts up the middle, goes to the 30, the 35, runs to the 40, and is driven out of bounds. And that might not have been a broken play. That could well have been a quarterback draw as Plunkett took the snap from center, took 1 step backward, the blocking formed, and then he just angled over to the left, found a big hole, and ran it all the way down to the Stanford 43-yard line. An excellent run by Plunkett, good blocking by Bill Myers and Terrell Smith. Myers, the left tackle, Smith, the left guard, and they did the job, and Plunkett gets a 1st down. That's the 6th Stanford 1st down, and now Stanford has plenty of breathing room. They have it 1st and 10 at the Stanford 43. The Indians overload the right side. Plunkett with the ball, hands off to Brown, hit at the line of scrimmage. Brown got about 2 to the 45. Brown, the ball carrier, on a slant play, run off his own left tackle, runs into Doug Adams of Ohio State along with Ralph Holloway. So there's a pickup of 2 yards from the Stanford 43 to the 45, 2nd down and 8 to go. Clock running, 5 minutes and 20 seconds left here in the second period. Wide to the right comes Bataha, single coverage on him. Wide to the left is Lassiter. The sole running back now is Hillary Shockley. Plunkett with the ball. Drops back to pass. The blitz is on. The pass is thrown over the middle. Flag down. Flag is down. Let's see. It's an incompleted pass. The blitz was on. Moore was the intended receiver. Let's see what the violation is. The penalty will be against Stanford. Could it be that there was an ineligible receiver downfield? Let's see. Evidently, it's a holding penalty called against Stanford. And there is a big 15-yard step-off. 15-yard penalty against Stanford moves the Indians now all the way back to their own 22-yard line. Second down and now 31 yards to go. Stanford must go to the Ohio State 47 to get a first down. That was technically a 23-yard penalty. Split back formation for Stanford as they overload the right side. Plunkett gets the ball, drops back to pass, is rushed, throws it upfield. It's caught by DeVille Washington, and he's tackled now at the 37-yard line. Washington hooked in at the 35, got the ball, took 2 steps forward, and then was cut down by Harry Howard at the 37-yard line. So there's a 15-yard gain on the play, and Stanford is still considerably short of a first down by some 16 yards. It is now third down and 16 yards to go. Third down and 16. Line of scrimmage, the Stanford 37. This time the Indians overload the left side. Single coverage on both receivers. Plunkett back to pass. Throws one upfield. It is caught by Washington. He's at the 40. He's at the Ohio 35. He's at the 32. DeVille Washington took it away from an Ohio State defender and with good speed got it down to the Stanford 31. First down, Stanford. So the Indians had 31 yards to go to get a first down, and get it they did. Much credit goes to Jim Plunkett and his fine receivers. Plunkett threaded the needle, and Stanford has a first down to the Buckeye 31, and that could be a big lifter here for Stanford. The back shift out of the eye into a split back. Bataha wide to the left, Lassiter to the right. Plunkett on the option play, pitches back to Brown. Brown turns the corner. It's at the 25, the 20, the 15. He's out of bounds. He's out of bounds at the 11-yard line. On a pitch-out sweep, Brown gets the first down, was able to turn the corner. Stan White drives him out. So now the Indians come fighting back. They'll have the ball, first and 10, and they're going to mark it at the 14-yard line.
Marv, you have to feel that Stanford facing adversity as they did on the Bob Moore touchdown callback, and now on that long penalty, fighting back against long yardage and still able to come back with plenty. Here's Plunkett to the line again.
Plunkett with the ball, gives off to Shockley. Shockley fights his way forward to the 10-yard line. He got 3 tough yards. Shockley, the ball carrier, hauled down by Jim Stillwagon and George Hazenall of Ohio State at the 10-yard line. So it'll be a pickup of 3, second down and 7 to go. Stanford's ball, the line of scrimmage, the Ohio State 10-yard line. Clock running, 3 minutes and 24 seconds remaining here in the second period. Ohio State now clinging to a rather shaky 14-10 lead. This time the ball is given off to Shockley. Shockley hits off the middle, gets inside the 10. He's down to about the 7 or 8. Doug Adams is there to stop him, along with White and DeBevick. They're going to mark it at the 7-yard line. So 3 more yards for Stanford. Third down now and about 3 to go. 3 and a half, really. Line of scrimmage, the 7-yard line. Out of the huddle is Stanford. 2 minutes and 45 seconds left in the second period. Clock running. Signals are called. There's Plunkett reversing, giving the ball off to Moore, who fumbles the ball. Ohio State gets it. Moore fumbled the ball on a reverse. The ball popped loose, and Ohio State falls on the ball. And I think it's Mark DeBevick who falls on it for Ohio State. Bob Moore on an end around was hit solidly at about the 9-yard line. The ball popped loose, and DeBevick pounced on it. So the Buckeyes get a break, stopping a Stanford drive via the fumble.
Marv, I should point out that's the first time that Bob Moore has been used in that capacity this year. He's never run the end around. Obviously, when hit as a ball carrier, he just couldn't hold on to it in his unfamiliarity of carrying that football.
Kern with the ball on the option play, pitches the ball back to Galvos. Galvos at the 15, the 20, the 21, tackled at the 22. As Dave Tipton played off the blocking nicely, gave ground a little bit, and then cut Galvos down at about the 22-yard line. The gain is a good solid 9 yards, however, so it is second down and about a yard to go. The clock is running, 2 minutes and 11 seconds remaining here in the second period. Ohio State winning 14-10. There's been a lot of offense in this football game. There's a slant play. Hayden carrying. Hayden gets it out to the 25. First down, Ohio State. And now a timeout has been called as they get the clock stopped. The gain is to the 25-yard line. That's the 11th first down now for Ohio State as Dave Tipton, the big 6'6", 230-pounder, stops the play. Clock starts to run again. A minute and 50 seconds remain. Kern from the wishbone tee calls signals against the six-man line. Gets the ball, drops back to pass, throws the bomb up the middle to Jankowski. It's incomplete at the Stanford 40. Kern led him too much as Jankowski and McLeod were racing step for step. Jankowski might have had a half-step advantage, but the ball was overthrown incomplete. The clock now stops at 1 minute and 39 seconds. Kern in passing is 1 for 4. Second down and 10, line of scrimmage, the Ohio State 25-yard line. Wide to the left is Bruce Jankowski. The backs are in the wishbone tee. Tight end is Jan White to the right side. Kern with the ball, mix up in the backfield, gives off to the first man through, John Brockington, and Brockington gets about 5 to the Ohio State 30. Brockington, the ball carrier, followed his own right guard, who was Phil Strickland, and gains it down to the 30, and that will be a pickup of 5. And Stanford is going to call a timeout. As the Indians want to get things straightened out here, they do not want any defensive lapses at this point. 1 minute and 26 seconds remain in the second period. Ohio State leads 14-10. Larry Zelina reports into the game for Ohio State. And the Stanford defensive captain goes over to the sideline to discuss the situation. That's Jack Schultz. Going over to the sideline to discuss it with Coach Ralston. 1 minute and 26 seconds remaining here in the second period. Third down and 5 to go is the situation. The ball is at the Ohio State 30-yard line. The score is 14-10 with the Ohio State Buckeyes on top. Stanford went 59 yards in 4 plays on the first possession to take the lead in the game, 7-0. Then Steve Horowitz kicked a 37-yard field goal to increase the Indian lead to 10-0. Then Ohio State came back with a brace of touchdowns to take the lead, 14-10, and that's the situation. Ohio State had a scoring opportunity later, couldn't make it, and neither could Stanford. All right, here we go. Kern with a 3rd and 5 from the 30-yard line, gets the ball on the option, keeps it, goes 5 yards, goes 7, gets a first down as he knifes his way forward to the Ohio State 39-yard line. Rex Kern, the ball carrier. That'll be a first down for Ohio State as Bill Alexander makes the stop for Stanford. The Buckeyes are not going to huddle. Stanford making a defensive replacement. Now the clock starts to run with 1 minute and 18 left. Back to pass goes Kern, gets good protection, throws it in the flat, gets caught by Jan White, and he goes out of bounds to stop the clock. White stepped out of bounds at the Ohio State 43-yard line, and that, of course, will be first down for Ohio State. Ben Barnes makes the tackle along with Jeff Seaman. Again, Ohio State will not go into the huddle. The clock starts to run. Line of scrimmage to Stanford 48. Kern back to pass, throws the quick out. It's caught by White, and he steps out of bounds again to stop the clock.
Rex Kern doing a masterful job on this drive, Marv. I'm sure our listeners can recognize the fact he's throwing the out patterns to the sidelines with longer yardage to go. He's getting the first down through the line. Of course, in the collegiate game, that stops the clock. He's conserving his time tremendously here, effectively, against the Indians, and getting better field possession with every play in 56 seconds remaining.
Second down and 6 to go. Kern with the ball, option play, pitches the ball back to Galbos. Galbos going to throw a forward pass, incomplete. He underthrew Jankowski at the 15-yard line. Jankowski was streaking toward the goal line there, and Galbos underthrew him, defending on the play and defending well for Stanford were Charlie McLeod and Jim Kaufman. That used 6 seconds. We now have 50 seconds remaining here in the first half. Ohio State winning 14-10. It is now 3rd and 6. The line of scrimmage, the Stanford 44. Wide to the right is Jankowski. Double coverage on Jankowski. Turn back to pass is in trouble. They get him at the 49. A good rush by Stanford. Bill Alexander penetrated Ohio State's pass protection and knocked him down at the 49-yard line. Clock running. 36 seconds remain. 4th down and 11 to go. And now Stanford calls for time because the Indians are in position to get the football. 4th down, 11 to go, 33 seconds remaining. Stanford has called time to get the clock stopped. And Gary Lago comes into the game for Ohio State. He is the Buckeyes' kicking specialist. Eric Cross goes in deep safety for Stanford. Each team has 1 timeout remaining. 4th down and 11 to go. The line of scrimmage, the Stanford 49-yard line. And Ohio State's kicker, Gary Lago, is reported into the game. Huge crowd on hand here, in excess of 102,000 fans. The Rose Bowl jammed to capacity. Beautiful day. Temperature was near 70 degrees. All right, Gary Lago drops back in deep kick formation. Eric Cross, the single safety for Stanford. There's a good pass from center. Lago kicks high downfield. He really hung that up there. Eric Cross makes a fair catch at the 19-yard line. And so Stanford will get possession of the football. 1st and 10 on the Stanford 20 is where they mark it with 27 seconds remaining. 27 seconds remaining here in the first half. Ohio State on top, 14-10. It's been the fine running of Rex Kern for Ohio State and the excellent passing of Jim Plunkett of Stanford. But of course, that's what you'd expect from the Heisman Award winner. Plunkett from the 20-yard line again uses that long count. On a draw play, the handoff goes to Brown. Brown to the 20, the 25, the 28, brought down at about the 28. Shockley it was who carried the ball. Don Lemke stops him at the 28 or 9-yard line, and Stanford calls time as they want to get the clock stopped. 18 seconds remaining. And that will probably be the last official timeout that Stanford can get here in the second period. Ohio State makes a replacement in the line. Shad Williams, who is a strong pass rusher, comes in at defensive tackle, replacing Ralph Holloway. Generally today, Stanford's pass protection has been excellent. And that is all Jim Plunkett needs, because he can put that football right where he wants it. He's an excellent passer and must have remarkable peripheral vision, because he can pick out the receivers. Ball is at the 29-yard line. 2nd down and 1. Split back formation as Stanford overloads the left side. Plunkett drops back to pass, has good protection again, throws the deep one upfield, intercepted by Ohio State, and the man tries to get out of bounds and does. It's picked off by Stan White, who was a little slow to get out of bounds. White did get out at the 34-yard line, so now the Buckeyes will get possession of the football again. So Ohio State's ball, 1st and 10 on the Stanford 35-yard line as Plunkett underthrew his intended receiver, who was Randy Bataha. And Stan White picked it off, White was a little uncertain whether to try to get as much yardage as he could or whether to go out of bounds. He elected to go out of bounds, and we have just 10 seconds remaining. Kern with the ball, drops back to pass, has the protection, throws the deep one upfield. It is incomplete to Hayden at the 3-yard line. Over Hayden's fingertips, and Kern hung that ball in there very well. It was just out of the fingertips of Leo Hayden at the 3.
Well, that was close, Marv. As going back to the Plunkett pass, it's a gamble, of course, throwing out to the sideline pattern. In that case, the receiver double-teamed over there, and, of course, Ohio State getting that interception that gives them the last chance here in the closing 4 seconds. And believe me now, that Stanford secondary is pretty loose down there.
All right, 4 seconds remaining. Line of scrimmage, the Stanford 35. I formation for Ohio State. Kern back to pass. The rush is on. They drive him out of the pocket. Kern going to have to throw on the run. Fires it upfield. It is incomplete. At the 18-yard line, and that's it. The first half is over, and the score is Ohio State 14, Stanford 10.
What do you look for in your station wagon?
Beauty, smart driving.
For roominess, visibility,
Well, safety for my kids.
convenience, engineering, practical options, and accessories. Chrysler Corporation wagons give you all of them.
Chrysler Corporation cars.
A 1971 Dodge Coronet wagon or new Plymouth Satellite wagon offer a unique combination of features. Unibody construction, torsion air suspension, 4 by 8 foot load space, storage compartments in the wheel wells. Beautiful enough to take you out on Saturday night. Wagons with an optional roof air deflector to keep the...
And now to do the play-by-play of the second half of this Rose Bowl game, it's my pleasure to turn it over to the Dean of West Coast Collegiate Sportscasters, a man who has covered Stanford athletics for the past 15 years, Don Klein.
Thanks, Marv, and the co-captains with the officials out at midfield right now, getting set for a ball game currently standing 14-10 in favor of the Ohio State Buckeyes, representing the Big Ten against the Pacific 8 Stanford Indians down below at the Ohio State bench. A team in a huddle as the Stanford Indians come out likewise, and the tension, the spirit begins to mount here as we get ready for the second half of action. You'll recall Ohio State won the toss, elected to receive. They'll kick off this time to start the second half as the Indians set their receiving team in motion down here, and Ohio State gets ready to kick away. 2 final scores, in case you just joined us. At the Sugar Bowl, Tennessee defeated the Air Force decisively today, 34-13, and Notre Dame was a 24-11 winner over Texas. And Marv, let's concede the fact right now to the Texans. I guess that does make you number 1 without a doubt, doesn't it?
Well, of course, depending on the outcome of this game, Don, but yes, that is a big factor. Quite a surprise down in the Cotton Bowl today.
Here we go, ready to kick off for the Buckeyes. Stan White from Kent, Ohio, a junior weighing 222. A fellow who was converted from a defensive end spot from last year. Stan White, he's the linebacker along with Doug Adams and Jack Tatum. And back deep deployed for the Indians are Reggie Sanderson and Eric Cross. Sanderson, by the way, is playing with a bad back this afternoon and is okay, however, certainly for this kind of action. Reggie Sanderson is okay, sophomore in there ready. And awaiting the referee's whistle is Stan White. And the second half here at the Rose Bowl is underway as here's the kick from White. Downfield it goes. It's coming down to the 2-yard line. A 58-yard kick grabbed by Eric Cross up to the 10, the 15, cuts the far sideline, the 25, the 30, gets a block and goes down to the 34-yard line. He runs it back 32 yards off a 58-yard kick. Dennis Sheehan was the man who cleared the sideline for another 10 yards for Eric, and he was tackled finally on that play by Mike Sensabaugh, the great safety for the Ohio State Buckeyes. First and 10 for the Tribe at the 35-yard line of the Indians. Jim Plunkett. Of course, quarterbacking is running backs for Brown and Shockley. The flanker back is Randy Bataha, and Randy comes out wide to the right side. Tatum comes over to cover him along with Howard defensively. As the Indians shift now to Shockley up in the line, lone running back is Jackie Brown. Plunkett calls his signals. Marv called it audible. Goes back to pass. Shoots it to the left side. It is off the flag thrown on the play. Jack Lassiter got it to the 45. There's a flag thrown on the play. Tim Anderson was covering on the play. Tim Anderson, who made the Sporting News All-American team. And there might be a pushing penalty on the play. We'll see against whom. Possibly against the Buckeyes. Tim Anderson, a veteran back here on the right side safety. Most playing time, as a matter of fact, on the defensive unit for the past 2 seasons, this boy. And he did something there that any defensive back tries to avoid. Now, let's see whether it's called or not.
Interference on the 45-yard
It is called as interference, right where it was taken, and there it'll be 1st and 10 taken by Lassiter at that point. Lassiter, of course, caught the pass, so it's 1st down, 10 to go for the Indians now at the Stanford 45-yard line. They're running out of an I formation, split Lassiter to the left side, Bataha right. As they stay in the I, there's a fake handoff, and Plunkett goes back to pass, shoots it down, it is caught by Moore at the 40, down to the 38-yard line. Marv Moore. Harry Howard was the man defending against him, helped along on the play by Tatum, but they just could not cope with Marv Moore's reception of a beautiful pass, pulled that time by Jim Plunkett, and it's 1st and 10 after a gain on the play of 17 yards. 1st and 10 for the Indians now at the Ohio State 38-yard line. The score is 14-10 in favor of the Buckeyes. As the Indians line up with split backs, the handoff is given to Shockley. Shockley goes over the left side guard and pulls up for about 3 or 4 yards when he unpiles. Leading the hole there, Dan Lightfoot, the Santa Rosa guard. A very strong and great drive blocker, and that was his assignment on that particular play, as the handoff from Plunkett to Shockley, and the stop by Jim Stillwagon, the 2-year All-American middle guard for the Buckeyes, along with Chad Williams from Portsmouth, Ohio, a sophomore. A gain on the play of about 3 yards. It's 2nd down, 7 to go at the Ohio State 35-yard line. Indians line of scrimmage, Lassiter left to the right side now, but Taha spread wide to the left. Split backs behind Plunkett are Brown and Shockley. Jim again, a long count, has the ball, fakes his handoff, pitches a lateral back to Brown, cuts in now at the 30, and down he goes at the 30-yard line. Jackie Brown taking the pitch back from Plunkett as he keyed on his linebacker, Plunkett did, and then elected to pitch it rather than keep it. Mark DeBevick making the stop. All Big Ten, and a tough one on those sweeps. That time, Marv DeBevick, the left end defensively for the Buckeyes. That was a gain of 5 yards to make it 3rd down now and 2 to go for the Indians. Here's Randy Bataha coming wide to the right side. Jack Lassiter, short split on the short side to the left. As Plunkett hands it off to Shockley, he's trying to get the first down. He's in trouble. He doesn't get it. He's down at the 32-yard line. Jack Tatum came racing in from his linebacker spot. Jack will rove, and he'll play on the wide side normally. He made the stop on the short side, and Steve Horowitz is coming in for the Indians, which, of course, presages the field goal attempt for the Tribe here. Horowitz having, so far today, kicked one. He has now a total of 10 out of 20 so far. He's kicking from distance at 39 yards, and, of course, that means a 49-yard attempt. He's kicking from the left hash mark. At this distance out, of course, the angle is not important. Waiting, Steve Murray. The ball snapped back, face down, kick, on its way. Has pretty good distance, enough. It's on its way. It is good. Steve Horowitz has kicked a 49-yard field goal for the Indians, and it's a 14-13 ball game. Horowitz kicking. A perfect snap from center from John Sandy. Murray placed it down, and Horowitz kicking 49 yards to make it 14-13. There's a timeout on the field, and repeating that score, the Ohio State Buckeyes 14, the Stanford University Indians 13.
Winter's here in full force. Your car's ready for the worst. You've changed the oil, added antifreeze, tested the battery. Wait, isn't there something you've left out? The one thing that could make the difference between go and no-go on cold winter mornings? That's right, STP oil treatment. The same STP that's been racetrack tested and proven to fight friction and wear will also help your car start faster on cold days. That's because STP oil treatment clings to metal parts. So on winter mornings, you get extra lubrication for faster starts. And then to keep your engine running smooth and clean all winter long, remember to add STP gasoline treatment to your tank every time you fill up. STP oil treatment and STP gas treatment. Winter's dynamic duo.
Steve Horowitz, who had his previous moment of glory a few miles away from here over the Los Angeles Coliseum, kicking 3 field goals against UCLA, and that is why Stanford is competing against Ohio State here today. And Steve has now come through twice with field goals. The last one, the 49-yard effort, and here he is kicking off for the Indians. Downfield it comes. It's taken at the 8-yard line by John Brockington, up to the 20, the 25, with blockers in front, and goes down to about the 32-yard line. John Brockington taking that ball at the 8, a 52-yard kick, and he ran it back about 30 yards from the 8-yard line, about 24 yards to the 32-yard line. So there to be first down and 10 to go for the Buckeyes, and this is the first time, of course, they've had their hands on the ball in this third quarter. About 2.5 minutes of time has been consumed on the clock, and here we go as Rex Kern looks over a wishbone tee behind him. Brockington up tight as he has the ball, fakes to Brockington, keeps on the option, and runs it up to about the 33-yard line. Pete Lazartich making the stop. Pete from Billings, Montana. Ringleader of the Thunder Chickens. That's what they call the Indians' front four. Dave Tipton, who's been tremendous today on that left side. They call him tackles at Stanford, not ends. The outside men, Tipton and Sampson. And Pete Lazartich and Larry Butler, the interior of that defensive line. Rex Kern, the quarterback. His running backs are now Hayden and Galbus, along with fullback John Brockington. They line up in the T formation. Split on the left side is Bruce Jankowski. As the handoff is given to Brockington, Brockington takes it up to about the 39-yard line and gains about 5 more before he's stopped by Pete Lazartich again. That'll make it about third. That'll make it third and about 2.5 yards to go. So here again is one of these key third down situations for Ohio State. They become all the more important for a team such as Ohio State because their game plan is to control the ball. They keep it on the ground. They use up the clock and stop that other team from getting their hands on that ball, trying to outdown you. As here's Kern is ready again. Wishbone tee, third time, that same formation. Jankowski split wide to the left. The handoff is given to Brockington. Through a hole from 50 to 40. Outrunning the defense from 30 to 20 and tackled from behind by Benny Marv. Ohio State has a first and 10 at the 20. John Brockington broke through the middle on the handoff from Kern. And he goes to the 20-yard line, a distance of 41 yards on the run. A tremendous run for John Brockington, opening up a huge gap in the center of Stanford's defensive line. And it's first and 10 to go for the Buckeyes now at the 20-yard line. Dave Chaney and Vic Toon with the men along with Brian Donovan, opening up that hole. Here's Kern ready again, same formation. The handoff fake, giving it the trailing man, and the Hayden carrying the ball up to the 15-yard line. Jeff Seaman making the stop on the play. That's a gain of about 6. He faked to Brockington, the lead man out of that wishbone tee, and then the trailing man, Leo Hayden, running in behind Brockington's block and going down to the 15 for a gain of 6. It'll be second down, about 4.5 to go now. Call it second, 4.5 to go for the Buckeyes at the Indian 15-yard line. Ohio State leading by the 1 point, 14 to 13. Buckeyes line of scrimmage. They split to the short side. The 3 running backs in behind Kern again. Rex calling his signals. Fakes his handoff. Gives again to the tailback. And this time Galbus carries it to the 10. And it looks as though he has a first down. He's past the 10 where Jim Kaufman made the stop on the play. Kaufman stopped them at the 9. They're inside there. And it's first down and 10. And first down and goal for the Buckeyes. This, of course, is the most difficult situation from which to score. You have the 4 downs, but you have the 9 yards to go. There is no chance for a first down to keep the drive going. It's first down and goal at the 9-yard line. Same formation for the Buckeyes. They're staying in that wishbone tee for the power attack. The handoff is fake. The pitch back on the lateral. And down to the 7-yard line of the play goes Galbus again. Galbus down to the 7, gaining 2. He's stopped by Dave Tipton on the play. While they're lining up, let's pause quickly 10 seconds for station identification.
This is Steve Fitz, your contact host. Call us weeknights from 8 to midnight here on the fresh air sound of Radio 81, WGY Schenectady.
Buckeyes up the line of scrimmage once again. 2 tight ends are in there now. As calling his signals, Kern has a straight T formation. He fakes his handoff, pitches a lateral to Hayden, who's in trouble, but escapes at the 9, gets down to the 7, and not much further than that past the line of scrimmage by only a yard. Jeff Seaman making a stop. There's a flag on the play, though. It's a penalty coming up against the Buckeyes. Penalty against Ohio State. The Indians will take the yardage and let Ohio State have the down because it's a 15-yarder. It takes the Buckeyes back to the Indian 27-yard line. A clipping penalty against the Buckeyes. Tom DeLone trying to throw a block through there, through which Hayden was trying to go after taking the pitch from Rex Kern. So it is now second down, and the Buckeyes have 27 yards to go. Remember, it's a goal situation. There are no first downs to be gained in this drive. was actually a 19-yard penalty from the point at which the penalty occurred. Here's Kern ready. This time they're in the I formation. As he drops back to throw a pass, going for the 15-yard line. It's caught there at the 15 by Larry Zelina, and he's down to the 15 of Stanford and gains about 12 of the 27. Zelina took it, and Jim Kaufman had him immediately as he was falling in the act of catching. It'll be now second down for the Buckeyes, and they have 15 to go for a touchdown. 14-13 the score in favor of Ohio State here at the Rose Bowl, the 57th annual Rose Bowl Classic in Pasadena. Here's Kern to the line of scrimmage, lines it up in a tight T behind him now. Hayden, Brockington, and Zelina. As Kern goes rolling out to throw a pass, shoots it to the 10, it's incomplete. Intended at the 10 for Zelina, a wingback. Larry Zelina, senior 3-year campaigner, playing his last collegiate ball game, beat Lazatich and Jeff Seaman. Lazatich was dropping off on the play. They're looking for Kern to throw in this particular situation, and it's now 4th down and 15, and a key play for Ohio State, as it is certainly for the Indians defensively. Trying to avoid a field goal here as Fred Schramm comes in. He's kicked 6 out of 12. He missed one earlier. Holding is Tom Campana. The kick is on its way. It has plenty of distance. It's good for Ohio State. Fred Schramm kicks the field goal, and they get the 3 back that Horowitz picked up a few moments ago, and Ohio State regains their 4-point lead. Timeout with the score. Ohio State 17 and Stanford 13.
For the right car buy today, for the right service on that right car buy today, you've got to come to the right place. You've got to come to your Chrysler Plymouth dealers. He's coming through with the economy car that's making it big again this year. Plymouth Duster, still small enough for all the economy you want. Small enough for quick handling and parking ease. Small enough. Yet Duster is big enough to come through with all the room, power, and safety that's missing in the little minis. Check Duster. It's right. Check the price. It's right. Right now, at the right place.
Chrysler Plymouth.
Duster.
Coming through.
Right now.
Chrysler Plymouth.
At the right place.
Coming through.
Your Chrysler Plymouth dealers. See him now.
With something new. Chrysler Plymouth.
Ohio State ready to kick off to the Indians. Back in front by the score of 17-13. Trading field goals, Horowitz and Schramm. And ready to kick off for Ohio State now. Stan White, who does the kickoff work for the Buckeyes. Reggie Sanderson and Eric Cross, the deep receivers, back at the 5-yard line of the Indians. And coming forward, here's White ready, and there's the kick on its way. A beauty, coming down to about the 6-yard line, where it's grabbed by Sanderson. He cuts out to his left, the 15, cuts in at the 20, and goes down at the 23-yard line. Harry Howard made the stop on the run back of Reggie Sanderson from Pasadena, and it'll be 1st and 10 to go for Stanford now at their own 22-yard line. Indians' backfield is Jim Plunkett at quarterback. The running backs are Brown and Shockley. The flanker back is Randy Vataha, coming wide to the right. And out the left side now is Demeo Washington. Calling his signals, Shockley and Brown, split backs behind Plunkett. Jim throws quickly. It's caught on the 25-yard line by Demeo Washington and goes out of bounds at about the 28 or 29. Run out by Tim Anderson, making the catch on the play. And there it'll be a second down for the Indians. These field goals are beginning to be a factor in this ball game. Horowitz has kicked one 37 yards and then 49. Schramm's a moment ago was a 32-yard effort. And here's Stanford up the line of scrimmage again after a gain of 6. Second down and 4 to go. Slot back formation right this time. Lassiter split right, and Randy Vataha is in the slot to the right with him. As Plunkett throws his pass forward, clear, he's got it. The 50, the 45, the 40, and out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. Mike Sensabaugh was on him, but Moore got behind him. Bob taking the pass over his shoulder and goes down to about the 36-yard line for a first down.
Don, that was an exceptionally well-called play by quarterback Jim Plunkett because he overloaded the right side with his split end Lassiter and his flanker back Vataha, and he caught Ohio State rotating to that side, and then he went back to the weak side to Moore.
It was good for 36 yards and a first down and 10 to go for the Tribe at the Buckeye 36. Shifting into the I formation now. Shockley, the lead man. Now they break out of it and go to a setback position. Vataha right, Lassiter left. As there's the throw to DeMille Washington, and he's out of bounds. It's the pass over his head out of bounds on the far side, and that will make it a 2nd and 10. Plunkett unloading against the rush that time. DeMille Washington now playing that split end spot in place of Jack Lassiter. Going over to cover again, Tim Anderson, who plays the short side of the field. The Buckeyes use Ken Lutner, their defensive end, along with Stan White, one of the linebackers, and Tim Anderson, always on the short side in regard to the hash marks. And on the long side of the field, Debevic, Tatum, and Howard. Again, the same formation for the Indians, slotting right, Moore tight on the left, as Plunkett goes back to pass, being rushed. Safety blitz, he's down at the 48-yard line. Mike Sensabaugh came through on a safety blitz for the Buckeyes, and Plunkett didn't know what hit him. Great move, Shad Williams opening the hole, and Sensabaugh came through. Shad Williams was the man who got him. And it will be a loss on the play of about 13 yards. Third down, and 23 to go now for the Indians. Great defensive move by the Buckeyes. As now the Indians line up on that I again, slot back formation right. They break from the I, going into the setback spot. Shockley and behind Plunkett. The ball is handed off to Shockley, and he gets up to about the 43-yard line on the play. Hillary Shockley and a handoff from Jim Plunkett. Doug Adams making the stop. He's a boy from Xenia, Ohio, one of the defensive co-captains. Second team Big Ten honors for this boy, Doug Adams. He's the fellow who calls the defensive signals for the Buckeyes. It'll make it now 4th down. The Indians have no option but to kick, and Steve Murray is in to boot. Back to receive for the Buckeyes. Mike Sensabaugh comes back as a single receiver back at about the 10-yard line. Murray, hands outstretched, waiting. Ball snapped back, and he gets his kick away. Chasing Sensabaugh to the right corner, angling toward the sideline, out of bounds at the 7. So Steve Murray gets a very effective toe into that one and kicks it out of bounds. They're going to mark it when they bring it in at about the 7-yard line. And there it'll be, well, it's closer to the 6 actually, where it'll be 1st and 10 for Ohio State. So the Indians now set up their defense. Usually 4 up front, and in a situation like this, looking for line play in the rushing game, they put 6 up on a wide 6, the handoff to Brockington, and he goes through the middle, just as the Indians were lined up for him. Jeff Seaman along with Larry Butler, Pete Lazatich. Pierre Perrault is now in for Butler at the right guard spot, a gain of about 3 yards on the play, and that'll make it 2nd and 7 for the Buckeyes at the Ohio State 9-yard line. Time remaining, 3rd quarter, 6 minutes. Score is Ohio State 17, Stanford 13. As the Buckeyes break their huddle, come up the line of scrimmage. Going wide to the right side is Bruce Jankowski. The wishbone team, Brockington in the lead there, Hayden and the Zelina on either side. They fake, the handoff goes to Brockington. He keeps it and gets up to about the 17-yard line. Jeff Seaman backing up the line in the middle. Defensive signal caller for the Indians, making a stop. Jeff earned all Pac-8 honors, all Coast honors this year. And he'll be back next year for the Tribe. They mark that ball, it's at about the 17, and it looks as though it will be a first down for Ohio State. 1st and 10 to the Buckeyes. 5.5 minutes remain in this 3rd quarter. Halftime score was 14 to 10. Now 17-13, so as you can see, it's a standoff of 2 field goals for either team so far in this 2nd half. Again, Jankowski is split wide to the left side as Kern has the ball, fakes it, now rolls out, pitches out to Hayden. Hayden past the 20, the 30. He's up to the 35, the 40, gets the block, and is run out of bounds at about the 40-yard line. Great move by Leo Hayden, who goes about 23 yards on the play. Leo Hayden, who's been a really scamper. He averaged 5.5 yards per carry this year. He was the number 2 rusher of the Ohio State Buckeyes. He played a fine Rose Bowl game here 2 years ago. He'll go inside or outside on those runs, and on the pitch going outside. Here's Ohio State, the line of scrimmage again. 1st and 10, their 40-yard line. Indians in a 5-man front. The handoff is given to Brockington. He doesn't get very far. He stopped after gaining about a yard. Marv, we've been talking about a crowd of 102,000 here. We shorted them by 1,839. We have 103,839 fans here in Pasadena and millions watching and listening around the world.
Yes, it's certainly a spectacular sight here at Pasadena, and they're seeing quite a football game as Stanford and Ohio State go at each other in the 3rd period.
Here's Ohio State ready, 2nd down and 9 to go at their own 41-yard line. Kern has it, fakes, keeps, goes out, cuts in on an option keep, goes past the 45 to the 48-yard line. Jack Schultz comes up to knock him down. Here's a boy who dreamed of playing in the Rose Bowl. He hails from South Pasadena, just a few miles from the site of the stadium itself. He's the defensive co-captain for the tribe, and he used to come over here as a little boy and want to come into this place. He heard all this yelling going on. He many times just couldn't get a ticket. And he made up his mind if he could play football well enough, he wanted to play in here, and believe me, you can imagine, put yourself in his case, imagine the thrill Jack Schultz is getting here today. Here's Rex Kern, this time a handoff given to Brockington, goes into Stanford territory by a couple of steps, gets in there to about the 48-yard line before he's hit by Ron Caitzel on the play. That's enough for a 1st down. Ohio State rounding out the yardage. And with 3 minutes, 50 seconds left, they lead Stanford 17-13. They have a 1st down now at the 47-yard line. Remember how this drive started back at their own 6? That means in going to the Stanford 47, they have now moved this ball about 47 yards. As up the line of scrimmage they are again. The wishbone tee. Jankowski on the short side, split to the right. As the handoff is faked, Kern still got it. He wishes he had given it up. He's down at the line of scrimmage. Jeff Seaman got him. Rex Kern, he'll key on those linebackers, and he thought that Seaman was out of the play, but Seaman was still there to get him, and that'll make it now a 2nd down, and about for the Ohio State fans, we'll call it 2nd down and 10. Indian backers would rather we'd say 10 and a half. He might have lost a foot or two. It'll be Ohio State the line of scrimmage again, and this time in a I formation, wide split to the right. Kern going back to pass. Good protection, throws his pass, incomplete. A flag for him, possible interference on the play. Looked like Benny Barnes was riding the back of the receiver, Jan White. And that's going to give the Buckeyes a gain to the Stanford 39-yard line. Pass interference called. Jan White had Benny Barnes hitting him before the reception. He was the number 1 pass receiver of the team this year, taking 13 passes. And, of course, with the pass interference, 1st down at the 39-yard line. Jan White, 2nd team All-Big Ten honors for Jan. Here's Ohio State, the line of scrimmage again. Stanford 39-yard line. Kern hands off the lead runner, Brockington. Coming in first, gets the handoff and gets down to about the 37-yard line. Larry Butler and Jeff Seaman making the stop for the Indians.
After the 36-yard line.
Jeff Seaman, by the way, played a defensive end spot last year. This was a big switch for Jeff to come over and play that middle linebacker, taking on the responsibility of calling the defensive signals. And as I mentioned, he'll be back again next year. It's now 2nd down and 6 after a gain of about 4 yards. After the Stanford 36, the Buckeyes line up on a wishbone tee. Jankowski on the short side, split to the left. Kern, with a long count, might have adjusted. He fakes the handoff, keeps, and goes to the 33-yard line. Greg Sampson from Long Beach making the stop.
That was undoubtedly a broken play, John. Kern faked to Brockington and expected John to take the ball. For some reason, the handoff was not made, and then Kern had to keep it and kind of swing around to his own right. There was just no running room at all.
It's now 3rd down, and in a very important play for the Buckeyes. 3rd and 4. Stanford digs in defensively. They put 5 men up front. Now moving up 6 as Kern has it and keeps it after the fake. He's to the 30, to the 28. He's got a 1st down. It looks as though it's 1st down from here at about the 28 or 29-yard line. Rex Kern, after faking that ball to Brockington, took it back and then goes to about the 20. Well, we'll see when they mark that ball officially just where it is. It's about the 28.5-yard line. It's so close they're going to have to measure. Jeff Seaman again backing up the line. Dave Tipton, the left tackle, along with Greg Sampson for the right side, adding their triple effort to the stop, but not in time to avert the first down. First and 10 for Ohio State. Line of scrimmage is the Stanford 29. Remember, this drive started back at the 6-yard line of the Buckeyes. They've moved it now to the Stanford 29-yard line, a distance of 65 yards. They have to go, of course, 94 to cap it off with any kind of payment where points are concerned. Ohio State leading 17-13. We have a minute and 20 seconds to go at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Again, the I formation for the Buckeyes. The handoff's given to Brockington. He breaks inside the tackle, goes past the 25 to the 23-yard line. Larry Butler making the stop for the Indians. He was the leading tackler on the team this year, Larry Butler from Lakewood. Tough against the run, but he couldn't avoid that one of Brockington's, who picked up a big 6 yards and makes it 2nd and 4. The Buckeyes have rolled off 123 yards from scrimmage from rushing in this half. As again, they break their huddle, come up the line of scrimmage in that modified T formation. As Kern has it, fakes, now gives the trailing man Hayden after faking to Brockington, and Hayden gets down to the 20-yard line. He might have been past it. He has to go to the 19 for a first down, and he may have that first down again. Phil Safry is in there now for the right side linebacker. Dennis Moore made the stop. Phil from Martinez, California. Mike Simone, who normally plays one of those linebacker spots, was unable to perform in this ball game with an injured ankle and had to sit it out. He's down there on the bench and wishing he were in there. It's 3rd down. They missed it by 2 feet. Ron Masajowski has come in to replace Kern, possibly with a key play on 3rd down play. Masajowski calling signals, has the ball, hands it off, this time to Galbus. Galbus in for Zelina, and he kicks it down to about the 19. He didn't get very far, but remember, he needed only about 2 feet. The umpire will see where it is. Jeff Seaman and Phil Safry again stopping the play.
19-yard line.
It looks to be almost exactly at the line of scrimmage. So it's either a first down or a 4th down here coming up for the Buckeyes. They're measuring. It's short by about, what do you say, Marv, 6 inches?
No more than that, Don. It was very, very close. 4th down situation.
4th down. And it's still the 3rd quarter, but only 3 seconds remain. And any kind of play like this could mean your ball game eventually. Here come the Buckeyes. 4th down. A foot to go. Up to the line of scrimmage as Rex Kern is back in, trying to quiet the crowd. He wants to be sure his ends and tackles out there can hear these signals. And there's the time that ends the 3rd quarter. The end of the 3rd quarter here in Pasadena at the Rose Bowl. The score, Ohio State 17 and Stanford University 13.
Kohler kitchens are bewitching rooms to see. They are modern and designed in quality. Professionals who plan with care will make your home beyond compare. Call Kohler Kitchens, live in luxury.
Kohler Kitchens has many ideas on how to make your kitchen more beautiful for the new year. With the help of products by such famous names as Corning, Amana, Woodmode, Waste King, and many more. The folks at Kohler Kitchens, 100 Edward Street, Schenectady, will be more than happy to talk over your ideas with you or suggest new ideas for your approval. The kitchen is one of the busiest rooms in the house, so make it one of the most beautiful with the help of Kohler Kitchens.
No home is complete without a room by Kohler Kitchens.
Kohler Kitchens, exclusive distributors of Woodmode kitchens.
Yardage figures in this at this moment in the 3rd quarter having ended. Final 15 minutes of the ball game. Ohio State in the second half has 127 yards rushing, 13 passing for a total of 140. For Stanford, nothing on the ground, 59 through the air. Ohio State, as you can see, is dominating the yardage in this second half of action. For the game now, the total's 397 for Ohio State, 289 for Stanford. Here we go, 4th down and a foot to go. As Galbus, Hayden, and Brockington, a tight T behind Kern. They need only a foot. As Rex calls the signal, Stanford puts 8 men up front. The handoff is stopped at the 20. We'll see what's going to come. It looks like Stanford is held. Chuck McLeod and Jack Schultz, along with Pat Moore, were all over the ball carrier as Kern gave that ball on the plate of Brockington, his bread and butter performer, and John just couldn't break that Stanford defense. It's the Indians' ball, first down, 10 to go at the 20-yard line. As up the line of scrimmage they come, they break out of the eye, go into a setback formation. Mataha wide to the left, and Lassiter out right. The throw to DeMille Washington, takes it up to 25, and goes out of bounds at about the 26-yard line. Jim Plunkett throwing to DeMille Washington, who's in there for Lassiter at the split end slot. A gain on the play of approximately 6 yards. The tackle made by Tim Anderson on the far sideline. Gain of 6, second down and 4 to go for the Indians, starting this drive on their own 20-yard line where the defense took the ball away from Ohio State and gives it over to Jim Plunkett and his mates. They're ready as Jim calls his signals. The Heisman Trophy winner splits his running backs behind him. Left end split, flankered back to the right. As a long count for Plunkett. Jim's going back to pass, throws to Washington, caught the 36-yard line. DeMille Washington taking the pass from Jim Plunkett. Tim Anderson was on him but could not avoid the reception of that pass. First and 10 for the Indians at the Stanford 36-yard line. We're just 15 seconds into the fourth and final quarter. This ball game, 17-13 in favor of Ohio State. Nationally ranked number 2 in most of the polls through the nation at the end of the year, but Texas, number 1, was beaten today, and Ohio State has a chance to claim number 1 with another victory here, as once again Jim Plunkett is ready. The Indians going out the left side comes Plunkett. He's going to keep that ball, trying to turn the corner, running out of room. He's out of bounds at the 38-yard line. Plunkett did not like the way his receivers were covered downfield, so Jim said, I'll have to do it myself, and out of bounds he ran at the 38-yard line. Younger Clippett and Tim Shalleck. Younger Clippett, along with Tim Shalleck, the left guard and right guard and right tackle, respectively, for the Indians, trying to protect Plunkett as best they could. It was Jack Tatum and Jim Stillwagon, a pair of All-Americans, chasing him out of bounds. Gain of 2, second down, 8 to go. The Taha goes wide to the right side. Lassiter is a split end, but he's staying in on the short side of the field now. Hasn't much room to operate in. Split backs are in behind Plunkett. On a second and 8, Jim's on a draw up the middle by himself from the 40 to 45. 45 and up to the 47-yard line. It looks as though he's got a first down. Larry Jones threw the block for Plunkett on a quarterback draw off the middle. He went. Beautiful flat block thrown by Larry Jones. He's a boy playing close to home. He hails from Pasadena. He's a transfer from Pasadena City College, playing for Stanford, and it is first down, 10 to go for the Indians at their own 48-yard line. And Stanford breaks its up with the line of scrimmage now. They're in an I formation. DeMille Washington back in at the split end spot. Mataha spread to the left side. They're at midfield between the two sideline stripes. Plunkett back to pass. Looks to Mataha. Throws to him. Out of bounds he goes at the 41. Randy Mataha covered by Tim Anderson on the play. Mataha caught that pass for a gain of about 10 more yards. We'll see when they bring it in whether he's got the 10 or might be a little short. They're going to have to measure on the play. Jim Plunkett adding his name to the roster of greats in this ball game, along with Rex Kern here today. Fellows like John Brockington. It's hard to single out fellows, but who will ever forget other great Ohio State performers here? Jim Parker joining Ernie Nevers on the modern all-time NCAA football team, selected during football centennial season. Then you had Wes Fessler, a 3-time All-American. Remember Bob Reynolds of Stanford. First down for the Indians on that play. Reynolds, the famed All-American tackler, who set a record here that will never be broken. He played in 3 successive Rose Bowls and played 60 minutes of every game. Obviously, it cannot be broken, would never be tied in this day of 2-platoon football. Bob Reynolds, one of the members of the well-known Stanford Bowboy teams of 1933, 34, and 35. Here we go, as Stanford with a first down, the Ohio State 42-yard line. Slot back formation right. The ball given this time to Brown, and he goes to the 40-yard line, stopped after a gain of 2. Hit by Jim Stillwagon, the middle guard in that 5-man front for Ohio State, along with Doug Adams backing up the line. It'll be second down and about 8 to go for the Indians. John Sandy and Terrell Smith were the blockers, trying to clear a path through which Brown could move. Jim Parker, I mentioned, a 2-time All-American guard for Ohio State. He starred in the 1955 Rose Bowl win over USC here and captured the Outland Trophy, the nation's outstanding interior lineman that year. Now some 15 years ago. There's Shockley going into a short slot formation on the right side, leaving only Brown in a running position behind Plunkett. Jim looks to the right. He throws out there. It's caught by Mataha, trying to get away. Does the 1, 2 more. Still on his feet. Down to the 32-yard line. Randy Mataha, the Rabbit. And with that move, how well he deserves that name. On him first was Harry Howard. He avoided him. Coming up to help him, Mike Sensabaugh. Finally, Howard got him. First down, 10 to go for the Indians at the Ohio State 32-yard line. 12 minutes, 45 seconds to go in the ball game. Ohio State leading Stanford 17 to 13. Indians up the line of scrimmage now. Here's Demia Washington split wide to the left side. The running backs Hillary Shockley and Jackie Brown behind Plunkett as Jim calls his signals. With a long count now moves Shockley in closer to Brown. He has it, hands off to Shockley, going behind Brown's block, past the 30, and down to the 28-yard line before he's thrown out of bounds. He's hit out by Stan White, backing up the line for the Buckeyes along with George Hazenall. Boy from Garfield Heights, recognized as the strongest man on the Ohio State squad. He's only a sophomore, and think of the great career he has at Columbus after being named the second-team All-Big Ten left guard on that interior line defensively for the Buckeyes. He threw him out of bounds after a gain of about 3 or 4 yards for Shockley. Make it 3, second down, 7 to go at the Ohio State 28-yard line now. Indian back shipped out of the eye to the setback position. Plunkett has the ball, fakes it. Here's an end around of Mataha. He's going to throw a pass right to Clinton. He's down the 37-yard line. The play was to throw to Jack Lassiter in the end zone if Mataha had been able to escape the rush of Ken Lutner along with Mike Sensabaugh as the Indians go to their trick bag, and it did not work.
That was a safety blitz, Don, and once again Sensabaugh got through untouched and was there to mess up the play before it could ever really develop. It was a safety blitz, Don, and once again Sensabaugh got through untouched and was there to mess up the play before it could ever really develop.
Well, that blitz by Sensabaugh spoiled the effect of what might have been a surprise play for the Indians, and you've got to give credit to Ohio State's defensive call on that one, Marv. Tremendous. It's now third down and 15 to go. As again they're ready, as Plunkett calls his signals, has the ball, dropping off with the linebackers, covering receivers. Jim has to run out of it. His receivers covered. Now throws down toward the 5. Ford grabs on it. He's got it. He's got it at the 3-yard line. A tremendous catch by Bob Moore, the tight end. It was Mike Sensabaugh, double teaming with him, along with Sensabaugh. On the play was Harry Howard. It was 2 against 1, and Bob Moore won the battle for the ball. He took it at the 3-yard line. It's first down and goal to go for the Indians at the Ohio State 3. Jim Plunkett had a problem on the play. The linebackers were not putting a rush on. They were dropping off to cover receivers. That's why Bob Moore had 2 men on him, and still he threw his pass. Perfectly executed, right on target. Here we go, first down and goal for the Indians at the 3-yard line. As Plunkett himself keeps it, gets down to about the 2, and he's racked up by 3 or 4 Buckeyes at about the 2-yard line. Jack Tatum and Doug Adams coming in to lead the defensive rush on the attack of Jim Plunkett as he kept that ball. And he gets down to about the 1.5-yard line. When they mark it, we'll see exactly where it is for you. It's at the 2-yard line it is. Second down and 2 to go for the Indians. They trail 17 to 13, 10 minutes, 50 seconds to go. The clock is not a factor in this ball game yet. Here's Plunkett ready again. Mataha goes wide to the right side. In the I formation, Shockley and Brown behind him. As the keep by Plunkett, he's hit on his back again at the 1.5-yard line. Jim is trying to fool the Ohio State Buckeyes, who might be looking for something else. And it is going to be third down as Ohio State digs in defensively now. The Buckeyes, the test on their defense. That forward ball that has been so great through the year. George Hazenall, along with Ken Lutner, made the stop that time. It'll be third down as the Buckeyes dig in defensively, trying to hold their lead. Third down to 1.5-yard line. Plunkett is ready, calling his signals. Split backs are in behind him. He has the ball and gives it to Brown. He's trying to get in. He's there. Touchdown, Stanford. Jackie Brown behind the triple blocking effort of younger Clifford, Randy Mataha, and Hillary Shockley. Jackie Brown was able to turn the corner. He was hit at the goal line on the play, but was unable to be stopped on it by the Ohio State Buckeyes, and the Indians have a 19-17 lead ahead by the 2 points. And, of course, it goes without saying this is a very important driver point for the Indians' Steve Horowitz, trying to take a 3-point lead against an attempted field goal later for the Buckeyes. Ready and waiting. The ball placed down, kicked on its way. It is good, and Stanford has a 3-point lead. We got a timeout here in Pasadena with the score. Stanford University 20, the Ohio State University Buckeyes 17.
Right this minute, you're listening to radio. Now, we don't expect you to leap like a startled fawn and say, I didn't know that. But here's something I bet you don't know. Are you aware that you're part of an audience of over 15.5 million people? Of course, you're not just listening to radio. You're listening to NBC Radio. Why? Well, we like to think it's because NBC gives you something to listen to. There's emphasis, great listening every weekday with talent and topics perfectly matched, whether they be serious, sensational, scintillating, or surprising. Then there's news, all the news, up-to-the-minute news from the finest news-gathering organization in the broadcast business. And weekends, well, where else would you find Monitor? An unbeatable combination of music, sports, people, places, and events to keep you entertained, informed, and with it. Yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. You're riding with a winner, so stick with it. NBC Radio.
This is Don Klein with Marv Homan on the scene at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, where we have 10 minutes remaining in the ball game, now led by Stanford 20-17. Marv?
Don, that was a superb 80-yard drive in 13 plays, and wasn't that a circus catch that Bob Moore made on the 3-yard line? He was double covered by Ohio State, went right over the top to get him.
As ready to kick off now is Horowitz, back to receive. Bruce Jankowski, along with John Brockington for the Buckeyes, and here's the kick. It's going back into the end zone, kicked 58 yards, and there's no chance to run it out. Horowitz really put the foot into that ball. He kicked it 68 yards, 8 yards deep into the end zone. There was no chance for the run out on the play. Taking it back there for the Buckeyes was Bruce Jankowski. And there they'll take it on the touchback, 1st and 10 to go at their own 20-yard line. Now the test is on the Buckeyes for them to negotiate an uphill climb here. They trail by 3 points. Plunkett, by the way, has now thrown 9 passes, hitting 8 of them in this second half. Tremendous. We've watched him for 31 ball games at Stanford. He's having perhaps one of his finest efforts. Here's a lateral out to Hayden. He's in trouble on the 18-yard line. Jack Schultz making the stop on the play for the Indians. Leo Hayden taking a pitch from Lex Kern that time. Goes down to about the 18-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 12 to go after a loss of 2. 2nd and 12 for the Buckeyes at the Ohio State 18. Jack Schultz diagnosing the play perfectly. Waited, keyed on the trailing man, and as soon as that ball was pitched by Kern to Hayden, Schultz was on him like a hawk. Once again now, here the Buckeyes come to the line of scrimmage. Jankowski split wide to the left side. The running backs are an eye behind him. Kern, it's Brockington and Hayden. As Kern goes back to pass, throws it blocked at the line of scrimmage. Rushing through to get it. It's Ron Pico. Roger Cowan was the man who blocked the pass. Cowan from Los Angeles, 6'5" sophomore, got his hands on that one. As Kern's pass goes for naught, and it's 3rd down and 12 to go for the Buckeyes. 9 minutes and 17 seconds remaining at the Rose Bowl, where Stanford leads Ohio State, Big Ten champion Buckeyes, 20-17. Here comes Ohio State to the line of scrimmage, a need of 12 yards, or they'll have to give up the football. It's 3rd down and 12. Kern rolling out to his left as blockers. He's going to throw. He does. It's intercepted by Schultz. Stanford ball. Jack Schultz has intercepted the ball, pulled by Kern. It was intended on the play. Kern intended the pass for Jan White. He never got it. Jack Schultz did. It's Stanford's ball, 1st and 10. Schultz is the boy I mentioned a moment ago, coming from South Pasadena, who wanted into this ball game so badly. All through his high school days that he could play here, and he's realizing his ambition. We've got a timeout with the score, Stanford 20, Ohio State 17.
Number 3 ambulance, go to 1437 Main Street. 1437 Main, emergency status.
An ambulance, one vehicle that must be kept ready for action 24 hours a day in all kinds of weather. And the National Ambulance Service of Rochester, New York, one of the nation's largest ambulance companies, can't afford to take chances. So they keep their fleet emergency ready with STP oil treatment. National Ambulance has found from experience that STP protects vital engine parts better than ordinary motor oil alone. STP provides the extra lubrication engines need to fight heat, friction, and wear to keep running smoother, quieter, longer. Take it from the men whose vehicles have to run razor sharp. Have your service station add a can of STP oil treatment to your car's engine. STP is the razor's edge.
Stanford at the line of scrimmage, 1st and 10 at the Buckeye 25 off Schultz interception. Here's Plunkett throwing a pass, caught by Mataha at the 20. He's down to the 15. He's down to the 13-yard line. Randy Mataha, after taking a pass, eluding the first man to fight for him, and then he's hit down on the play. Tim Anderson finally got him. It'll be now to about the 14-yard line, a gain of about 11 yards. Stan White was also on the play for the Buckeyes. There's been no advance of that shame marker. Time. Offside penalty being discussed against the Buckeyes and actually refused by the Indians. And it's 1st and 10 at the 14. Slot back formation right now for the Indians. 1st at the 14. The handoff is given this time to Jackie Brown, and he lowers his head and goes to the 11-yard line. Gains about 3 more yards for a 2nd and 7. At the 11, the tackle made again by Tim Anderson. Let's break here for 10 seconds. We pause for station identification.
This is Steve Fitz, your contact host. Call us weeknights from 8 to midnight here on the fresh air sound of Radio 81, WGY Schenectady.
It's 2nd down, about 6.5 to go for the Indians at the Buckeye 11. Again, the Buckeyes tested now severely defensively as Plunkett slots his man to the right side. Shockley is behind him as Plunkett throwing into the end zone. It is incomplete over the end zone line. Intended for Bob Moore that time. It was over his head. Defending against him was Tim Anderson on the play. So that brings up a 3rd down and about 6.5 to go for the Indians. Just short of the Buckeye 10-yard line. The clock shows 8 minutes and 22 seconds remaining in the ball game. Stanford, remember, starting this drive from the 25 after the interception by Schultz. There goes Mataha, wide to the right side. 2 tight ends are in here now. Running back split as Plunkett throws to the goal line. It is touchdown. Randy Mataha broke clear into the Buckeye end zone. Jack Tatum was trying to get in, but not. And Plunkett was right on target to Randy Mataha. Running a pattern out right, and then cutting back in to the post pattern right into the end zone. He broke away from Tatum, who could not cover him, and Stanford now takes a 26-17 lead over Ohio State. Here's Murray holding. Horowitz will be kicking. Waiting, hands outstretched is Murray. Steve has it, places it down. The kick on its way. It is good. And Stanford has a 27-17 lead over Ohio State. A timeout on the field. And repeating the score, Stanford 27, Ohio State 17.
There's more than one way to drive down the high cost of living. A small way is Plymouth Duster. A big way is Chrysler Royal. And the middle way is Plymouth Satellite. Coming through at the right place. And maybe for you at just the right time. Because Plymouth Satellite is no run-of-the-mill car you're dealing with. It's a whole new idea in intermediate. New in shape front to back. New in ride on a wider track. It's America's newest, Plymouth Satellite is, yet it's America's lowest price 2-door intermediate. All right? All right.
Chrysler Plymouth, coming through. Chrysler Plymouth, coming through. Chrysler Plymouth,
For the right buy today, you've got to come to the right place. Your Chrysler Plymouth dealers.
So far today, Jim Plunkett has now completed 18 out of 28 passes here this afternoon, that being his 18th completion. And whether or not that will be the turning tide for the Indians, well, it's way too early to say. It's 8 minutes, 18 seconds left in this ball game. Remember, these are the Buckeyes from Ohio State who won the Big Ten championship. They are the second or first-ranked team of the nation. Stanford playing and reaching a new height of any football team we've seen at Stanford for the past 20 years. And playing their hearts out here now, but the Buckeyes are far from through. Here's the kickoff. It goes deep into the end zone. Running on the play is Jankowski, and he's hit by Tom Soames at about the 12-yard line. Horowitz inspired now. He kicks that ball for the second time, 66 yards into the end zone. It's carried out of there by Jankowski, and he gets it back to about the 14-yard line. It's first down and 10 to go for the Buckeyes, and they are now about 86 yards removed from the Stanford goal line. They break the huddle coming up the line of scrimmage. The talk, of course, is now a factor where Ohio State is concerned. Jankowski is a split right end to the right side. There goes Kern back to pass. Throws to the left. It is incomplete. That'll make it second down and 10. Remember at the start of the game, I mentioned the fact that Ohio State Stanford's hopes would be to force the Buckeyes out of their game plan. Rex Kern is now having to go to the air. It is their secondary weapon. Their first weapon has been deprived by the clock now. Ron Masajelski has come into the ball game. Kern has thrown 15 times, completing only 5 of them. Stanford, remember, intercepted that Kern pass at the 25-yard line by Jack Schultz. Defensively, it was a big turning point in favor of the Indians. They capitalized on the opportunity and went in to score. Here's Kern back to pass, throws it. It is incomplete out of the 20-yard line. Kern going to the air to Jan White that time. The Indians trying to get the ball back again. Benny Barnes was defending on Jan White. Benny from Richmond, California, the best tackler in the defensive backfield for the Tribe. He didn't have to tackle that time as the ball was just out of reach of Jan White. It's third down and 10 to go for the Buckeyes now at the Ohio State 14-yard line. Rex Kern is back in after Ron Masajelski goes coming back to the Ohio State bench. Here are the Buckeyes, the line of scrimmage, a big play for them. They need a third and 10. Here comes Kern on a run with blockers in front of him. Up to the 20. He's up to the 25-yard line. He's got enough for a first down for Ohio State. Dave Tipton got him, but Kern got 11 yards with a great run that time. Phil Satry was also on the play, and the Buckeyes will have a first down and 10 at the Ohio State 25-yard line. 7 minutes, 58 seconds remain. We are almost midway through the fourth and final quarter here in Pasadena now. It's been a rather lengthy ball game as far as playing time is concerned. Out here on the West Coast. Now 4:45, that'll be about 2 hours, 45 minutes of game time. Here goes Masajelski, and he's in trouble. He's trapped behind the line of scrimmage, hit down by Dave Tipton with that great pass rush of Dave. He got him back at about the 23-yard line, a loss on the play of a couple of yards, making it second down and 12 to go now for Ohio State at the Buckeye 23. Dave Tipton from Hollister, California. All-Pacific 8, All-Coast, second-team All-American. He had the most sacks of opposing quarterbacks this year as he comes into this ball game now and got another one right there. It'll be second down and 12 to go. The Buckeyes in an I formation. Masajelski going back to pass again. Throws it, and it's caught there nicely by White, and he's down to the 31-yard line. Hit by Jim Kaufman with Chuck McLeod. That would be a gain of about, they had 12 to go, and a gain of about 8 or 9 yards on the play, with a fine pass thrown by Ron Masajelski and completing it to Jan White. Masajelski, of course, we've not spoken of him too much today. This is the fellow who led the drive for these Buckeyes against Purdue for their 10-7 win. You think he doesn't play well under pressure? He's already experienced it and certainly accomplished that kind of pressure. Here's Masajelski ready again at quarterback. He has the ball, hands it off to Brockington, and Brockington is hit at about the 33-yard line. They needed about 3 yards. They did not get them. Larry Butler and Ron Cazel made the stop on the play at about the 34-yard line. I believe they're short by about a yard. It is fourth down, 1 to go for Ohio State. And what should the Buckeyes do? Surrender that ball at the 34-yard line if they gamble and fail? Or is ball control the paramount factor of the moment? Their answer, they want to keep that ball. They want the yard. Otherwise, they have to give it up. It'll be first down for either team. The handoff is given to Parkinson. He's hit, I believe, short of the first down. Stanford's held. Stanford will have a first down at the Ohio State 35-yard line. A timeout on the field with the score: Stanford 27, Ohio State 17.
Los Angeles International Airport, where a plane lands and takes off almost every 30 seconds. Handling this tremendous volume of air traffic keeps service vehicles busy. Commissary trucks delivering meals. Tractors towing planes. Freight loaders, baggage handlers, mobile boarding stairs. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, they've got to be in service. That's why the men at Airway Equipment Company, the men who rent and maintain these vehicles, use STP oil treatment. They know STP helps all engines run smoother, quieter, longer, because STP lubricates better than ordinary motor oil alone. Provides the extra lubrication any engine needs to stand up to heat, friction, and wear. Have your service station add STP to your car's engine and run racer sharp.
One of the big stops of his young collegiate football career. A sophomore from Manhattan Beach. He stopped Leo Hayden, the second man on the play, behind the block after the fake from Washington. And it's 1st and 10 for the Indians at the Buckeye 34-yard line. Here's Jim Plunkett calling his signals now. Has the ball, laterals to Brown on the short side. Past the 30 and down to about the 27 or 28-yard line. It was John Kane leading the interference for him. At about the 27, a gain on the play of about 7 yards, making it 2nd down and 3. The tackle made by Mike Sensabaugh, the safety man, along with Ken Lettner, the defensive right end for the Buckeyes, who just cannot afford now to give up another score here. Here's Stanford up the line of scrimmage. Demille Washington goes wide to the right side. On a short split is Jack Lassiter. They're in the I formation. Brown and Shockley behind Plunkett. Jim calls the signals, shifts Brown out to the near side. Lassiter splits out a bit further. Buckeyes 5-man defensive line to hand off to Shockley, and Shockley goes past the 25 and down to about the 24-yard line. George Hazenall, along with Stan White, backing up the line, making the stop on the play. Stan was the #1 tackler on the team this year coming into this ball game. A great linebacker for the Buckeyes. It'll be now 3rd down, 1 to go for the Indians. They're using up time now as Jim Plunkett keeping the ball on the ground, consuming the time that is so valuable now to the Ohio State Buckeyes. Brown and Shockley behind Plunkett. The handoff is given to Shockley, and he goes down the 20 to the 19 for a first down.
Don, this has to be a great psychological lift for Stanford, because Stanford does not want to put the ball in the air. They want to keep to the ground, and they've been doing it, and they've been doing it successfully. So that was a big first down for Stanford.
Mike Sensabaugh stopped Shockley, but not in time. Doug Adams, along with Art Smiley, in the ball game now. These are second line men on that offensive unit for the Indians. Dennis Sheehan helping on that block for Shockley. Here's Plunkett, first down and 10 at the 19-yard line, just a foot past the 20, in fact. Sprint backs are in behind him. Plunkett goes back, throws a quick pass to the right side, caught on the Taha at the 15, the 10, and didn't get out of bounds at about the 11-yard line. Mike Sensabaugh making the stop on the play. That's a gain of about 6 or 7 yards. When they bring it in from the sideline, we'll see where they're going to mark it. It's at the 13-yard line, a gain of 7. 2nd down and 3 to go for the Indians now at the Buckeye 13-yard line. The Indians trying to deal off the death blow to the Buckeyes here now. They lead by 10 points with only 3:35 left. The Buckeyes just can't afford to give up another score. Here's Plunkett ready. He hands off to Brown. He's stopped at the line of scrimmage. Runs headlong into George Hazenall. From Garfield Heights, this great sophomore defensive lineman for the Buckeyes stopped him at the line of scrimmage. He did not gain an inch. He might have, in fact, lost a foot or two. It is 3rd down and 4 to go. But the Indians are using up time. 3 minutes and 10 seconds remain in the Rose Bowl game. Ohio State 17, Stanford 27. Both teams have 4 times out left in this ball game. Now, Demille Washington goes wide to the right side. Randy Vataha comes out the left. The 2 running backs, Shockley and Brown, in behind Plunkett in the eye. They shift to a setback position. Here's Plunkett ready on a draw off the middle. He keeps it. He's down to about the 12-yard line. He might have fumbled the ball. It's loose in the air. The Buckeyes have it. Still laterally. On the way past the 50-yard line. Down to the 40-yard line. To the 30. The 25. The 10. The 5. touchdown, Ohio State, but there is a flag on the play. That was Harry Howard running that ball into the Stanford end zone. It might have been a forward lateral. As the ball was pitched on the last move of the ball to Harry Howard, it looked as though he might have thrown that ball forward. And you can't do that, of course, past on that particular play after the fumble recovery on the play for the Buckeyes.
And on an attempted lateral, he forward passed it.
Stan White recovered that fumble, and it was he who pitched it forward to Harry Howard, and of course, you can't do that. Bumped up on the play, Steve Jupp. The Buckeyes have the ball, though. They took it away from the Indians to mention they could not afford to give up any more of a score, and that's a big play for the Buckeyes. It'll be 1st and 10 for Ohio State at the 17-yard line. Time is against them, of course. 2 minutes and 36 seconds remain. The Indians with a 10-point lead, as the Buckeyes will have to move and make use of every second they have. Buckeyes now huddling. Rex Kern, the quarterback. His running backs, John Brockington, the All-American fullback, Leo Hayden and Larry Zelina. Kern is out, and Ron Masajowski is now quarterbacking. He's going back to pass. Throws one up the middle, caught by White at the 21. A loose one man down by another at the 27-yard line. That was Jack Schultz, defensive captain for the Indians, stopping at the about the 28-yard line. Masajowski is a drop-back passer, more of a pure passing type than Rex Kern, and he's in there now because that is the only game plan the Buckeyes have left. They cannot grind it out on the ground. They may have to measure on the last one, a gain of 10 yards on the play, and they're going to have to measure to see whether White made it. That stops the clock with 2 minutes and 25 seconds remaining in a ball game in which Woody Hayes' coaching career of victories here at the Rose Bowl is now in jeopardy. He has never been defeated here in Pasadena after winning the last 3 Buckeye appearances as head coach. John Ralston, of course, for the Stanford Indians, making his first appearance in Pasadena, is on the threshold of a big moment. If his Indians can hold back the comeback attempt of the Buckeyes, and the ball game has yet to be won or lost by either of these teams. Here comes Ohio State up the line of scrimmage now. Jan White and Bruce Jankowski the ends. Jankowski spread wide to the right. There goes Masajowski back to pass. Throws it downfield. Barnes up in the air. Couldn't stop it. It's taken in the air by Jan White. And he's out of bounds at about the 38-yard line of Stanford. Danny Barnes got a hand up but couldn't get it away from White. A great catch by White for the Buckeyes on the far sideline. There's some discussion on the play now. Some discussion, and they're calling that play back. Tough break for these Buckeyes. Ohio State having the touchdown, of course, on a forward, what had to be a lateral, a forward pass. You can't actually call that a bad break. It's merely an infraction of the game itself. But in this case, the Buckeyes are going to be called back on a penalty when they would have had the ball inside the Stanford 40-yard line. And it's the Buckeyes now fighting the adversity that Stanford had to fight in the early portion of the game. It's offensive pass interference against the Buckeyes, and that takes them back to the 14-yard line. And that has to take a lot of heart out of their comeback hopes here. 2 minutes and 2 seconds remain as the Buckeyes line up at their 14-yard line. Second down and 25 to go. Here's Masajowski back to pass again. Overshoots Jankowski, or rather Leo Hayden on the play, on the far sideline. Jim Coughlin defending against it for the Indians. And that will make it third down for the Buckeyes. Third, they have about, 24 yards to go for Ohio State at the Buckeye 14-yard line. Al Ashby, our producer here in our NBC radio broadcasting booth, tells us word has been received that Jim Plunkett has been awarded the Player of the Game award here at the Rose Bowl, and certainly he is tremendously deserving of it. What a performance. Here goes Masajowski back, rolling out to throw a pass again. Shoots it, and it is at the 28-yard line, caught there at the 28-yard line by Larry Zelina, taking the pass at the 28. Tom Soames and Jack Schultz covering him on the play. A gain of about 15 yards. Clock still going. Ohio State does not stop it at this point. 1:35, and Stanford, with every tick of that clock, now moves closer to victory. The first time we've use that word in relation to this ball game, but now the clock is against the Buckeyes, as is the Stanford defense. And the Buckeyes now decide to call for a timeout. Certainly, Marv, when you look back over the history of the last 3 years in this Rose Bowl, here's Jim Plunkett coming in as a Heisman Trophy winner, along with the great Indian quarterback, along with the Maxwell Trophy, the Bob Warner Award, the Boyd Memorial Award. He wins the Player of the Game honors. And there's another young fellow down here who knows what it's like to win this award, and that is Rex Kern, who played so tremendously here against USC 2 years ago.
Yes, indeed he did, Don. Plunkett has been superb today. He's been given good protection from his onrushing, from his blockers. His receivers have done an excellent job. And don't for one moment sell that Stanford defense short either, because they've stopped Ohio State on at least 3 4th-and-1 situations, which has turned this football game around.
Well, you know, we can go back to the Stanford opener against Arkansas for a similar situation in which the Indians had to hold the Razorbacks, who were on an uphill surge in the 4th and final period in the closing minute. We can still see Bill Montgomery throwing at the inside that 5-yard line of the Indians and preserving a Stanford victory there. And then the USC Trojans stopped twice inside the 5. These are the kind of performances by the defensive unit that led Stanford to Pasadena. And here was their biggest test of the year to stop this great Ohio State team, as they have done on some very key situations. And now, here is Ohio State, the line of scrimmage. Masajowski going back to pass. Throws it. Incomplete. Jennifer White, he had his hands on it. Couldn't hold it. He might have been away for a score. There was no one between him and the goal line had he been able to hold that ball. Chuck McLeod was closing in on him, but not fast enough. And that brings it up on a 4th down pass situation. The Buckeyes yield possession. The Indians have it at the 29, and you just about have to say that this is a Stanford victory. They are 1 minute and 14 seconds from it now as they break their huddle. Here's Jess Freitas coming into the ball game, replacing Jim Plunkett at quarterback. He's a sophomore from San Mateo. He is, along with Don Bunce. And Mike Marilla will have the responsibility of replacing Plunkett next year. The handoff to Jim Cale from Eureka. John Ralston, the head coach of the Indians, wants to get his reserves in here, a chance to say that they, too, participated in this Stanford performance in the Rose Bowl of 1971. 55 seconds remain. Stan White and Jim Skillwagon making the stop that time on Jim Cale, a boy from Eureka, California. Here goes cross wide to the right side. Off to the left side for the Indians now is John Kane playing the split end. As Freitas throws his pass, blocked at the line of scrimmage. Putting up a hand on that was Big Shad Williams of Portsmouth, Ohio. Only 38 seconds remain. The incomplete pass has stopped the clock. There are flags on the field. We'll see against whom the penalty is called here. Repeating those other game scores today in the Sugar Bowl, Tennessee beat the Air Force 34-13. And in the Cotton Bowl, Notre Dame surprised Texas 24-11. And of course, in this one, you have to go along with the surprise element. Ohio State was figured perhaps a 10-point favorite in this ball game. As I mentioned before the contest began, though, Stanford had faced that test of being the underdog and faced it successfully twice before this year. They overcame the odds to beat Arkansas. They did likewise against the USC Trojans. The penalty is a holding assessment against the Buckeyes, and that takes it down to the Ohio State 19-yard line, and Stanford is now threatening to score again here. Kane and Cross go wide to the right, setting up a slot-back formation. The running backs, Cale and Sanderson, in behind Freitas. The handoff is given to Sanderson, and Reggie powers his way down to about the 17-yard line before he's stopped by Doug Adams. Linebacker and one of the co-captains defensively for the Buckeyes, senior, 3-year letter winner, and a second-team Big Ten honoree this year. That's going to make it a 1st and 10 for the Indians at the Buckeye 16-yard line. 34 seconds remain. We've got a timeout called for the Ohio State Buckeye, for the Stanford Indians at the 14-yard line. As I mentioned earlier this afternoon, with all the somewhat somewhat deviation from normal game plans. The Indians going to some end-around performances from their tight end, Randy Vataha, flanker back throwing a pass. The Ohio State Buckeyes have altered some of their normal season activity. This game, of course, the Rose Bowl has been a showcase for revolutionary new ideas. New Year's Day of 1925, Pop Warner used the double wingback formation exclusively for the first time in history, bringing the game a new deception there. And Clark Shaughnessy's Stanford team showed the nation the true potential of the T formation that year. Stanford's success in the Rose Bowl that moved the football teams to the T formation from that point on. Here's the handoff from Freitas, given to Cale, and he goes a couple of yards down to about the 13-yard line before tackled by Stan White. Let's pause here 10 seconds for station identification.
This is Steve Fitz, your contact host. Call us weeknights from 8 to midnight here on the fresh air sound of Radio 81, WGY Schenectady.
Here's the countdown from the Stanford rooting section as Stanford lines up with 5 seconds. Listen to this. The handoff to Sanderson. He is tackled at about the 10-yard line by Stan White and Doug Adams as it's bedlam on the floor of the Rose Bowl. It is all over. The end of the game with the score, Stanford 27, Ohio State 17.
Kohler kitchens are bewitching rooms to see. They are modern and designed in quality. Professionals who plan with care will make your home beyond compare. Call Kohler Kitchens, live in luxury.
Kohler Kitchens has many ideas on how to make your kitchen more beautiful for the new year. With the help of products by such famous names as Corning, Amana, Woodmode, Waste King, and many more. The folks at Kohler Kitchens, 100 Edwards Street, Schenectady, will be more than happy to talk over your ideas with you or suggest new ideas for your approval. The kitchen is one of the busiest rooms in the house, so make it one of the most beautiful with the help of Kohler Kitchens.
No home is complete without a room by Kohler Kitchens.
Kohler Kitchens, exclusive distributors of Woodmode kitchens.
It was a 27-17 victory for the Stanford Indians. I wish we had time to go into all of the thrills and all of the action that made this what a great game it was. Marv Homan, it's been a pleasure working with you here in Pasadena, here in this 1971 Rose Bowl encounter. Before signing off our broadcast crew, Marv and I would both like to thank our spotters, Al Talboy, checking Stanford for us, and Dave Brailsback, coming out from Mount Vernon, Ohio, to help us with Ohio State. Our statisticians today, Raleigh Williams and Clayton Wisman. Our NBC engineer was John Pollard. Our NBC producer, Al Ashby. This is Don Klein and Marv Homan saying goodbye from the Rose Bowl. The final score again, Stanford 27, Ohio State 17.
Football is brought to you on
California has been brought to you by STP Corporation, makers of STP gas treatment, the Racer's Edge, and by Chrysler Corporation, extra care in engineering. Your host today, your local Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
This has been an NBC Radio Network presentation.
This is WGY 810 on your dial in Schenectady, New York. And the ringing of the ski school bell means it's time for another session of Ski Trails with Lloyd Lambert. And with a lot of fresh snow to talk about and a lot of good skiing, here's the host of our program, Lloyd Lambert.
Thank you, Steve Fitz, and good evening, ski fans. Our program this evening will have reports from 40 ski areas. Our guest will be Jim Mamanovich. But before we give you the New York State ski conditions, first hear this from Mad River Glen.
Attention skiers, did you know that Mad River Glen ski area in Waitsfield, Vermont was chosen the most lovable large ski area in the United States? This is according to a nationwide survey conducted by Ski Magazine. Yes, you too will enjoy the friendly, relaxed, uncrowded atmosphere of Mad River Glen in Waitsfield, Vermont. 25 exciting trails of all types, 2 big double chairlifts, a long single chairlift, and T-bar. Enjoy Mad River Glen's popular Monday through Friday ski weeks. Join Mad River's enthusiastic ski school. Small children play happily at Mad River Glen's nursery building, while parents ski or are at the restaurant or lounge. Yes, for real skiing fun, ski the most lovable large ski area in the United States. Mad River Glen, a particular place for particular skiers, on Route 100 in Waitsfield, Vermont. Now, with the first of our ski reports, here's Lloyd.
Here are the latest ski conditions that I received direct from 22 New York State ski areas. Starting at Snow Ridge at Turn, 20 to 24 base, packed powder, excellent, full operation. The temperature was 15 degrees and it was cloudy there today. Gunset Ski Bowl at Richfield Springs, 12 to 14 packed base, 3 new, excellent, open tonight and the weekend. Greek Peak at Cortland, excellent, 10 to 28 base, powder and packed powder surface. Intermont at Cortland, powder and packed powder, 10 to 28 base and excellent. Catamount at Hillsdale, 8 to 10 new on 6 to 24 packed powder, excellent, all lifts operating, open tonight. Bel Air Mount at Highmount, 8 to 10 new on 12 to 18 base, excellent, temperature was 18 degrees and flurries. Hunter Mount at Hunter, 5 new on 12 to 50 packed base, light snow falling, temperature 24 degree, mostly excellent. Combination 11 lifts and toes operating from the novice area to the summit. Plattekill Mountain at Roxbury, 12 to 15 base, 8 new and excellent. Maple Ski Ridge in Schenectady, 8 to 24 base, 4 new, packed, good, open tonight and the weekend. Homestead at Schenectady, 10 to 25 base, 6 new, snowing, good, closed tonight, open Saturday and Sunday. Royal Mountain at Johnstown, 17 base, 4 new, excellent, still snowing. Pine Ridge at Salisbury, 12 to 18 base, 4 powder, excellent, temperature was 20 degrees. Oak Mountain Ski Center Speculator, 18 to 25 base, 3 new powder, good to excellent. Silver Bells at Wells, 16 to 22 base, 3 new, excellent, open tomorrow. Adirondack Ski Center at South Corinth, 18 base, 4 new, snowing and excellent. Willard Mountain Northeastern, 10 to 30 base, 4 to 6 new, good to excellent. Rock Canyon Mountain north of Troy, 24 to 40 base, 6 new, excellent, open day and night. West Mountain Glens Falls, 10 to 30 base, 4 new, packed powder, good to excellent, open tonight. Hickory Hill at Warrensburg, 24 to 30 base, 4 new and excellent. Big Gore North Creek, fair to good, hard pack service, dusting of new, all this operating, the temperature was 20 degrees. Granite Mountain North Creek, 27 base, 2 new, excellent, temperature was 20 degrees. Whiteface Mountain Wilmington, 12 to 20 base, packed powder, good to excellent, temperature 20 degrees, and it was sunny today. And there you have the latest ski conditions from 22 New York State ski areas. I'll return in a moment with the latest ski conditions from New England and Canada, following this from Woody's Cracker Barrel.
The folks at Woody's Cracker Barrel Ski Shop, Rawsonville, Vermont, are proud of their expertise. They're proud to offer the most advanced boot system ever developed, the Nordica Custom Foam Fit Astral Ski Boots. Using a special machine, the staff at the Cracker Barrel is ready to manufacture contoured foam rubber in an astral shell using your foot as the mold, a permanent and individual fit results. The soft foam rubber between the inner walls of the boots locates, gives you the correct stance and the support you need for modern pack slope skiing. And Astrals come with all the features found in the best skiing footwear. See Woody's Cracker Barrel Ski Shop at the junction of routes 30 and 100, Rawsonville, Vermont, at the foot of Stratton Mountain near the Big Bromley and Magic Mountains. When you come for your Nordica Astral Custom Foam Fit ski boots, say you heard it on the Lloyd Lambert Ski Show and receive a free boot carrier. For those New England and Canadian reports, we go back to Lloyd.
Here are the latest ski conditions from 18